of Michigan sports. Red Wings, Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Michigan State, and the list goes on. And you love beer. Who doesn't? What if we mixed the two together? This is State of My Sports. We'll talk everything Michigan sports, like only we do, and then we'll down our fair share of beer from a local brewery, grading the beer throughout the episode. So pop a cold one on your end, and we'll get busy on ours. This is the State of My Sports.
That's right, everybody. This is State of My Sports, and this is episode 151. After our DeHop's flight segment, we're going to have a full Detroit Tigers season preview. We'll hit on everything from the additions to the betting odds, and just kind of everything in between. Everything there, right? I already said everything. A few times. Everything. We're going to hit on everything.
Yeah.
So if it's Tigers related,
all of it,
it's going to be part of the conversation. So, yeah. And then we're going to talk about some of the players that we think are important heading into the year and set some season goals as well. We'll also keep our NFL draft talk going. We're, 3-4 weeks away. It's coming up quick. We're going to rank 2 more positions. This week it's going to be the defensive line and the defensive end/rush linebacker type thing. You know, it gets a little confusing.
Yeah, we'll just mix it all together right there.
Yeah. We will have our Masters Fearsome Foursome draft, and I will try to give a back-to-back Wednesday parlay win because last week was a win. And, of course, we'll grade some Michigan craft beer tonight. We got Striker, baseball themed from Lost Art. So we'll introduce that in a quick minute. If you're on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook Live, be part of the conversation. Throw your comments in. Let us know what you guys think and tell us where we're right and wrong and all that good stuff in between. Tell us what you're drinking as well. Get all those lined up for our beer introduction segment after the flight. But before we jump in, I did want to give a quick shout-out to our sponsors that help keep this thing rolling and free for our listeners, the DeHop Brewing Company Cafes, the official brewery State of My Sports. Mac Web Design helped us get our website up and running, and Betting Hero helps us and you get the best promotions available in the sports betting world. I'm Sam Waltart. With me today, we got Ryan Waltart.
Hello.
John Dornboss working behind the scenes. John, you said a nice little fishing trip. You didn't catch anything, but you just love being on the water, right?
A bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe an average day
I
at
feel
work.
like I gotta get into the fishing thing.
It was a good time. Just got to go out there. I literally hopped in the boat, helped set some lines out, and, well, since it was an early afternoon from work, I got to tie in a little bit there for happy hour.
Yeah.
On the water.
Nice.
Would I be okay on a boat like long term, or would people just get sick of me if we were fishing? Because I gotta talk, right? But are you allowed to talk?
Sick of you?
Talking's okay to a sense, yeah.
I feel like I remember as a kid, like, you're not supposed to talk because it scares away the fish. That's what I was told. And I'm like, that just doesn't make any sense. My other bet was going to be Zadina scoring, and he just got one there. So, great.
I'm striking out.
Yeah, I'm really struggling with that.
One more to go to strike out.
Yeah, but hey, they're up 3-2, so I'll take that. But anyway, I mean, I don't know. Is that a false
narrative?
Yeah.
I don't like talking a lot when I'm ice fishing. You're sitting on top of the ice above fish.
Yeah.
When you're out in a boat and you're moving around, talking's all fine and dandy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have some conversation when you're out there. Like today, it was boring. No fish, didn't catch a bite, nothing.
Yeah.
A little buzz, good time.
Yeah.
Got to talk with a coworker I don't talk to very often outside of work, so
yeah.
it was cool.
No, it's always good to get coworkers outside of the office and like the work environment because you get to know people and you're like, hey, you're actually not too bad.
And we didn't speak a minute. We didn't speak a minute of work. So
no?
it was awesome,
good.
you know. So.
Usually when I'm out with coworkers, I'm like, so how about work these days? Like I never know what to talk about.
It was a nice change of pace.
How about purchasing?
Nice.
Yeah, they're all like hunters and stuff, and
okay.
so I'm like, obviously not.
Yeah, you can't talk. You can't talk when you're hunting deer, so.
Yeah, that's the tough.
Them deers, they can hear you.
Yeah. Anyways, for our DeHop's flight segment, John, you want to start us off with what you want to talk about today?
Oh, I'll start. Yeah,
Perfect.
Just on a high note, man. Speaking of work. We had a work bracket challenge going on.
Oh, yeah.
And decided to throw in a couple of brackets, and I ended up filling out 3 with 3 different winners. all sorts of different upsets. Figured I'd just raise the pot a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Friendly wager, but everybody was pretty mad that I ended up coming up on top. And I needed Kansas to win last night to leapfrog who was in first place going into the national championship game.
Oh, that probably felt good.
That bracket, I think, had Duke winning it all.
Okay.
So I needed the victory out of Kansas. Them getting to the championship game didn't wrap it up for me. So
All right.
talk about a game.
Yeah, that was actually a really good. I went into last night, so I had a little money on it. What I did heading into the Final Four was I took the exact result. So I said Kansas will beat UNC in the championship. I think I got plus 550 odds or something like that.
Okay.
So it was good odds and stuff and good payout. And I was just trying to figure out, all right, what do I want to do to hedge this bet? Do I care enough? So what I did was then I took UNC plus 4, and I hit on both.
There you go.
It was awesome. I was like, this is exactly what I want. I wasn't planning on staying up and watching the game because I don't really care a whole lot about college basketball, especially when I just get burned out by the time the Final Four comes around.
Yeah.
But I stayed up and watched the whole thing, and it was awesome. Did
What
you
a
watch
comeback.
it? Did you watch it?
No, I watched the second half. Like when I saw
you?
the comeback starting, then I was like, I gotta see this.
I was waving the white flag at halftime. I was so pissed. Kansas came out hot at the beginning.
I thought it was
And
going to be a
then-
runaway after
Yeah,
that.
and then it turned around the other way, and it's like, man, you're down 15 at halftime. I was so upset. I said, I'm going to give them 5 minutes in the second half. If they can trim that lead to, we'll say, 8, 9, 10 points, okay, I might hang out and watch the rest of the game. Sure enough, they came out hot right off the get-go in the second half, and I was on my edge of my seat, and then obviously stayed up way too late.
Yeah.
Had Kansas not been in that game, had I no chance of winning money, I would not have stayed up for the game.
How much did you win? Man,
It was just $200. Yeah,
just $200.
yeah.
Just
it was
that.
Jeez.
it was $2
I would take that.
to fill out a bracket. Everybody had to pay $2, and the owner ended up throwing another $100 on top
Oh,
of it,
that's kind of cool.
just to raise the pot and get a few more people interested in filling out a bracket. So
$200, just
yeah.
a gas tank's worth.
And
I would love $200.
I did not want to lose to the lady in the office who picked Duke. Too,
right?
Like
Who was it, Tracy?
No, this was another gal. What's her name? Well, there's 3 of them, so it's bad of me.
Tracy
does
work for you.
Her name is
work with you, right?
Her name is Renee.
Renee. Oh yeah, I know.
Renee. Yeah, she covers a little bit of Tracy's duties when Tracy isn't around. But it was cool to come out on top, and I guess they gave me a check, so I had to go cash it at the bank. But I finally got my cash for the bet.
Nice.
And funny story, I was going to throw some money down on North Carolina to cover that spread, right?
Yeah.
With the points before the game, and I was like, that way if I lose my work bracket because Kansas didn't win, I still got a chance at winning some money.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming out on top.
Yep.
Kind of glad I didn't, but at the same time, now I'm kicking myself for not
you
doing
got
it
both.
because I would have hit both. But
Yeah.
I guess beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah,
so.
no, I'm
off
just
to a good start this week.
Yeah, I'm glad that college basketball is done. I feel like that's the last page of getting into baseball season, and now we can turn it over and just
and football in a
move on.
way. You're talking like spring
We got
games,
draft.
and drafts.
Yeah, that's
and,
true.
Guys showing flashes out there, free agency
Free
and stuff.
agency
So speaking
part
of
2.
that,
Yeah. What was the next thing we were going to talk about?
I think
Ryan, did you have
looks
something?
like Micah was going to talk about the Riley Green.
Yeah,
injury?
we'll save the Riley Green stuff for our Tiger stock,
Oh,
which
all
is
right.
coming up here
I was going
quick.
to say I could fill in for Micah real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna do the same thing actually. 'cause
You
I
want
don't-
to? You
I
want
don't
to
know
start with just that?
Did I have a topic that I was gonna bring up?
You said maybe the Pistons, and then I was like, maybe. Then you stopped texting me back.
Oh yeah, I had to get back to work. I forgot about that.
Forgot about work.
I don't know. What do you think? Pistons or Tigers?
Let's talk Pistons.
All right. So I would say I guess Pistons have been winning lately. I think they were on a 2 or 3 game winning streak as of right now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I think so. I think 3 games.
Yeah, and they lost a close one to the Nets. They beat the Sixers, which that was a fun game to watch. Cade definitely turned out for that one. And then we
who'd they beat on Sunday?
Thunder. We beat the Thunder, and we were trying to lose that game, but Killian came out and scored 26 points and looked really, really good. And then since then we've won one more too. I think we beat the Pacers the other night.
Was that on Sunday?
Yeah, Pacers was Sunday. Another good game. I just think the more I watch the Pistons, the more I see how lively they are on the bench. Like this team really tries hard. Like the reason we've been so close in all these games recently is because I think the group as a whole, they just believe in trying hard and working hard, and they don't get down on themselves if they're down 10 points. They come back, they pretty good shooting group. Sadiq Bey doesn't hurt, in all threes he has been lately.
Yeah.
So people are getting their confidence. I see Killian working out. I can picture him in this offense and the team and like being a contributor, a main contributor that actually helps Cade Cunningham. I see Cade Cunningham as the leader. I see the team without Jeremy Grant, if we want to move on from him. I see this team working out long term with the pieces they currently have, and it makes me excited for the draft to come around and see what other piece they can add.
Well, is there a certain position that you would circle, or a specific player? I guess we'll see where we land and all of that kind of stuff, and a lot can happen. But if Killian's going to work, you don't have to worry about getting another guard, right? Or would you still try to upgrade that position?
I think we could easily upgrade that position if we were to go get the top guard in the draft. That Jaden Ivey from Purdue. Yeah, I mean, he is such an athlete. I think that would be really intriguing to see where he fits on the team. And if you are rich at one position and you just have a whole bunch of guards that are really good, I mean, that's just good for your depth and overall,
Yeah.
team,
I mean, a positionless game right now that we're kind of getting into. It's kind of just get the best players available.
Well, and can you imagine a backcourt with Cade Cunningham, Killian Hayes, and Ivy on the court at the same time? Because Cunningham can play. Well, Cunningham can guard the 3 or the 4.
Okay.
So then they're not screwed on defense if they're trying to play small ball. That's the beauty of getting a guy like Cade who's 6'6", 6'7", guard multiple positions, act as the point guard and the floor general, but you don't need him to be a defensive liability.
I know that Kevin Durant had high praise for Detroit after that game.
That was pretty cool.
He was hyping Detroit up big time.
I forget exactly what he said, but it was something like this team's going to be something to reckon with when they have a guy like that. Because Cade scored 17 straight points.
Yeah. Well, he talked about too, like if Detroit ran Cade at the true point guard, you got a 6'5", 6'7", whatever point guard.
Yeah.
And
that
shuts down.
They're not running him
teams.
at the true point guard position. Is that what I'm understanding?
I mean, I think they got Killian out there, and Cade takes the ball up the court when he has to.
Cade is usually the floor general. He is the point guard, but what John is talking about is true. So we also have blanking out his name, the old dude, Kojo or whatever.
Corey Joseph.
Joseph, yeah. So Corey Joseph is still in the starting lineup on most nights. And even though he's not the one bringing the ball up the court and running the offense, he's still that point guard, quote unquote, position on the court. So he'll guard the opposing point guard. He'll guard or he'll play that role. But I think once you trust 100% that Cade is the point guard on the floor, then you can start building the taller guards, more athletic guys, the scorers around him and let him do his thing.
Yeah.
But I've just seen the type of basketball that I think Detroit's been waiting for a really long time, and this confidence that he plays within. He just looks like a true veteran already, and people are talking about, the kind of comparisons that you're seeing are ahead of, they're on like the Luka Doncic phase, but he's not going to be a defensive liability. Okay. So I'm extremely excited about where this team's at.
Yeah, and it seems like it took a while to get there. Because they've played really bad at times this year. It was ugly. It felt like a step down. Because last year they were playing competitive and we're like, hey, we can see it. And then you add Cade, and it wasn't there. It didn't seem like it was clicking or gelling correctly. And all of a sudden, it is. And unfortunately, it's turning into wins, which kind of sucks the draft odds. But I think we're at a point that it isn't going to matter necessarily. It just kind of depends on the way the balls land at that point. But finally, and I'm okay with it, but at the same time, lose these, I think 3 games that we have left? Yeah. Lose them.
Which we tried, right? We haven't even played
everybody.
Yeah, but they just keep winning, but it shows the depth that the team has at this point, and we usually have a couple of starters out there, and they're just stepping up and doing their thing with Killian Hayes, Sadiq Bey last game. I mean, but again, these are guys that now belong in the league. They feel like it. They know it. They know when they need to take over in the league, and I just feel so good about that.
Their last 15 games too, they haven't been getting blown out. They've been in every game, even the losses. The wins have almost been like a higher point differential than their losses. So that tells you that they're at least competing. They're out there trying to finish a game and be in it. I don't know how many of those close scores are garbage points at the end of the game when the other team may have
they're not. They're close.
But they're playing teams that are competing for the playoffs right now in the Eastern Conference, and they're holding their own. And that's, like you said, a good thing to see with these young guys.
Yeah, for sure.
And the Kevin Durant thing, by the way, the reporter said how you barely squeak out a win against a team like Detroit. And he's like, what do you mean a team like Detroit? Like, he got all offended. Like, well, no, what do you mean about them? These are pros. Like, these are up and coming team.
Yeah.
Like, they're good. They got Cade Cunningham. They got a group of guys who try really hard. Like, what do you mean a team like Detroit?
That made me like
it was pretty cool.
Start to like him again.
Well, he was looking at the box score too. Like, he knows these guys' names. Like, we're Sadiq Bey and Isaiah, is it Beef Stew, right?
Beef Stew,
these guys they're making a name for themselves. I mean, Cade has the name. He's the number 1 pick overall regarded player coming out of the draft. Blah blah blah. But like, these other guys are stepping up too, and the youth. It's cool to see from a veteran like KD, who's arguably having one of his best seasons of his career too.
Mm-hmm.
Dominant.
So good. Speaking of so good, we got the Masters coming up this weekend. That was what I wanted to talk about real quick. The Tiger Woods stuff, very, very crazy. And John, you'll probably have a lot more information than I do on this. Basically, what it sounds like. Yeah, I think he came out yesterday or like last night. He sent out a tweet. He's like, or had an interview. He goes, I plan on playing. I plan on playing. Now he's basically. It's solidified. He's going to play this weekend, right?
He's got a scheduled tee time for Thursday.
Damn.
Yeah, he's playing with like Louis Oosthuizen and Joaquin Niemann, a couple of European players that are always up there in the leaderboard at the Masters too. These guys know the course. Louis, I think, has won it once or twice. But yeah, I guess he came up in practice, and that was his first like public practice that he's had since the car accident, since dang near losing his leg.
Yeah, so 14 months ago, roughly. I think it was early February that he had that car accident. Basically, his leg was in 17 different pieces or something like that. Like, it was a disaster, and they didn't know if he was going to be able to keep his leg. They didn't know if he'd be able to walk again. And here he is. He already did that tournament with his son. He's doing these practice rounds and stuff.
Yeah, I think that was back in December.
Yeah, yep. I mean, it blows my mind that he's able to do that. First of all, and good. I mean, look. I'm not a big golf fan, and I'm going to be one of those helicopter fans that if Tiger's in the mix of it, I'll end up watching it, or if the guy that I end up betting on is part of it, like I'll jump in. But I mean, what a story, and I'm okay with it. But at the same time, I look back, or I just look at it from a outsider's perspective, and all of a sudden Tiger's coming, and now all of a sudden that's when it starts getting some traction for the Masters, and I'm sure there's golf fans that are all in on it either way, but then you have so much talent, so much young talent that I feel like is going to get overlooked in these type of situations. And I don't know why I care, because I love Tiger. I love the story. I want him to be the greatest. I want him to win multiple more majors so he can be the greatest of all time that people still think he's not. Like, that matters to me. But at the same time, it's like, you got some talented guys that are just kind of getting overlooked just because Tiger's still part of the conversation, still the headline guy.
It's like the two biggest stories are Tiger and Phil, right?
Yeah, Phil.
Yeah. Neither of them a week ago were going to be there.
Yeah.
But
they're the two biggest stories.
I think it was a tweet by Scott Van Pelt that said, to any up and coming golfer that is playing in the Masters, you could walk around the course bare naked and nobody would notice you because Tiger's there. Yeah. Like, that's the kind of following he's going to draw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Masters has a turnout regardless. Like, it's a prolific, historic tournament that is a waiting list to get into. It's only better for the game of golf that Tiger's there. I would be surprised if he makes it through Friday. Augusta is the toughest walking course that the PGA players play in the United States.
No, he could probably get an exemption, right, and be able to take a cart, or do they not do that at the Masters at all?
I don't know that they do for majors.
Okay.
But I know that if you get injured, you're allowed to get a cart ride, but you still have to like finish the round. It'd be cool if he could ride around. I think it's only fair. The ratings are gonna go through the roof.
Yeah.
And the hype is, like you said, gonna be there. All these guys that look up to Tiger Woods are playing in the tour right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's everybody's favorite golfer on tour.
Tiger, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's funny because you look at his biggest competition. I mean, obviously, he's not part of the favorites to win this thing, but the ones that are because of him. Because he completely changed the game. He made it popular. He made it cool to be a golfer and put time and effort into it.
Him and Justin Thomas are like best friends. And that's crazy because there's a huge generational gap between the two.
Yeah.
Justin Thomas is on his come up, and Tiger's kind of closing that door, but they get along, and I know that's who he played his practice round with the other day. Was him
was it?
I
Okay.
think Fred Couples.
All right.
Freddie's always in there.
Freddie's
too,
an
in
old
the mix.
dude,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He doesn't hit the ball far. He doesn't. He's got a good iron game and can putt. I feel like he's always in the mix, coming around the cut.
Yeah.
In the Masters, and like falls apart the last 2 days.
The interesting thing with the Masters is it's just a completely different tournament than all of the other ones because like it's not about it's about how you play that course. Period. Right? Like I know that's probably a stupid saying because it's obvious. Depends on what, but like. You can get a crazy course that it's all about hitting the ball really long, and then all of a sudden, a guy like Tiger who can't hit the ball as long, but like knowing that he can compete and play this course well, as long as you're just playing yourself and not playing against everybody else, you're gonna be fine.
It's one of
and he could contend, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's his favorite course to play.
Yeah.
And
it's just all about putting at that point, hitting the putts.
He's just got to hit safe tee shots, not overdo anything, and make sure that his irons are on, and you never know what happens around the green, especially with Tiger Woods. But yeah, Augusta is one of a handful of courses that's open all year round, but they close for 9 months in preparation for this tournament.
9 months?
9 months.
Holy smokes! That really? That seems weird.
That's just why that course looks so much different on TV, and like I said, the hype, the HD cameras nowadays too.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
I like
always
that.
been green and luscious with the yellow flags, but
I do like that. I don't like the announcer though. He bothers me.
which one?
The guy that usually does it, the hello friends or whatever.
Oh, is that Jim Nance?
Yeah, I'm not a
Oh.
big Jim Nance fan. I feel like he's just I don't know. Arrogant,
What do you think?
Arrogant prick. He just seems arrogant to me.
Yeah.
Like Bob Costas, I think it seems like a good dude, and I don't think Jim Nance is. But I don't know. That's just a outside perspective, I guess. But before we move on,
It's a hot take.
from our DeHop's beer flight segment, I want to remind everyone that DeHop's Brewing Company and Cafe is serving incredible food and pouring some of the best craft beer in West Michigan. Chef Dan's revamped food menu and head brewer Ben's rotating taps, wine and ciders make DeHop's perfect for whatever you have going on, from dinner with a family, late night drinks with friends, and everything in between. The Ben and Dan duo is putting a ton of their time and energy at making DeHop's a staple in the West Michigan restaurant community that we highly recommend to our friends and listeners. They have Taco Tuesdays, Stein Night Wednesdays, and some incredible specials on Fridays and Saturdays. I highly recommend following them on Instagram and Facebook where they'll share like the weekly specials and some pictures of all the great food. It'll make your mouth water for sure. Also, the new beers they came out with, Juju. Ryan, what you were actually there today for Taco.
Took the whole
did you get a
family
beer
there.
Or no?
Yeah, I got Schwarz beer.
Schwarz beer?
Yeah, the Shadowbox.
Okay,
beer.
so they announced they have Juju
Smith.
Juju Smith
Juicer.
or something like that. Yeah, I forget the exact name.
I almost got it, but
but we're gonna drink that one next week when we're there.
Okay, perfect.
So,
okay.
yeah, I already made that decision for us. So, but follow them on the social media platforms and get all that good information. DeHops is the official brewery of State of My Sports in 2022, and if you mention State of My Sports, you'll get a nice little discount off your first beer. Speaking of beer, let's talk about what we're drinking today. Anybody want to introduce this one?
Yeah. From Lost Art Brewhouse, we're drinking Striker, the lager from Lost Art. It's 5%. This has got the old school baseball. I feel like I should know who this is. If it is somebody specific, I don't know.
Mickey Kaline. No, I have no idea.
Mickey Kaline. It sounds like a baseball name.
It was, wasn't it?
Mickey Kaline?
Oh no, yeah.
Al Kaline and Mickey Mantle?
Yeah.
Mixed?
So Hey Arnold. Remember Hey Arnold? Remember that show?
Yeah.
They had Mickey Kaline. That was
really?
the big name player because it was a mix of Mickey Mantle and Al Kaline.
There you go.
But he looked like Babe Ruth. It was weird. I don't know. I don't know why I remember that.
Yeah, so
Sorry,
this is a lightly toasted bread malt blackbone, and it holds up to the hand-selected Michigan Crystal hops, giving it an invigorating flavor profile. So, pretty easy drinkable lager. I think that's kind of what lagers are, but I like the flavor of this a lot.
Yeah, I completely agree. Lost Art is in Walker, Michigan, right down the road, actually. Shout out to the brewer Brad. I was like, hey,
on Remembrance, right?
Remembrance. Yeah, I was like, hey, we're doing a baseball heavy episode. You got any of like? So I always ask for like the short pours that they can't sell and stuff. Like, oh, dude, I got you. We're good. So he set these aside and we picked them up. So shout out to Brad. Thank you guys. And Lost Art does a great job. They also have some really good like the IPA smoothies and stuff, beers, which are really good. So
is Striker, is that a poke at the strike that they almost had?
No, so this beer is older than that. They've
okay.
done it, but no, I think it's about like strike 3 is my guess.
The K, the actual K.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
Got it.
Good start to the night drinking one of these. So
Drinking craft beer, having fun, and talking sports in the state of Michigan. You're listening to State of My Sports.
real quick, I did want to mention that Carrie is drinking a blueberry strawberry hop shake by Arvon Brewing Company. So that's a solid beer right there. Shout out to Carrie and Arvon. We love Arvon. Arvon does some great stuff, but it is time to have our Detroit Tigers season preview, and I'm pumped about Tigers baseball. Last season, the Tigers finished third in the AL Central, going 77-85 overall, finishing 16 games back from the division-winning Chicago White Sox, but finished 14 games over their over-under win total that was set by Vegas at 63 last year. Through 33 games, the Tigers were 9-24, 15 games below 500, but responded pretty well and became a competitive team with the well below average lineup and young rotation that really wasn't released into the wild even last year. I think they held them back. They did all that type of stuff, and it feels like the way that they're building this team, they're ready. And we're going to get into all the details of what this lineup's going to look like, what the rotation's going to look like, the bullpen, all of the good stuff. But I didn't want to start out with what Vegas is kind of telling you about this Tigers team. Their over-under, like I said, last year was set at 63. They bumped it up to 78.5 wins, which is a nice little jump. Still lower than what I expected. I expected them to be closer to 500 when it came to Vegas, but I mean, give or take a few, it doesn't really matter when all is said and done. Plus 550 to win the AL Central behind the White Sox, who is minus 210. Minus 210. That's insane. And the Twins at plus 490. I don't understand that. I know they got Correa. People are getting really excited about them. They have a good rotation. I feel like the Tigers are better than the Twins, even on paper. I don't understand that, but we'll see. They have the 10th best odds to win the AL at plus 2,800 and 18th best to win the World Series at plus 5,500. I actually put money on them to win the Central about 2 weeks ago.
On the Tigers?
Yeah.
Really? Over the White Sox?
Over the White Sox. And
nice.
And it was actually before the Tim Anderson suspension, or not suspension, he's hurt, right?
Yeah.
And then they also traded Kimbrel. So, like, I don't want to say they've
no, their lineup is stacked.
They're still stacked, and it is definitely going to be tough.
They have some question marks, though, right?
They do.
Yeah.
They have question marks, and I'm sorry, but Tony La Russa, he's old as junk. I don't understand how that guy could manage a true contender.
He's old as junk.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
that's a great statement, right?
Yeah, I know. So true.
Couple more betting odd things that I want to bring up before we move on to some additions. Casey Mize is ranked 15th in the AL Cy Young odds at plus 3,500, and then Torkelson is third at plus 500, and Green is ranked 5th at plus 1,200 for AL Rookie of the Year. I actually had money on Green to win the AL Rookie of the Year.
Oh, no.
And then he got hurt. Luckily, I cashed out, so I got my money back. It wasn't like a big deal. But like I just thought, so what are they saying? With 8 weeks or so, I expect probably 3 or 4 more of a rehab stint, maybe even not even call him up unless they actually need him. But let's actually start with that. Let's start with the Riley Green injury. Then we can go into the additions that we're heading into this season. Turns out, I mean, so Torkelson made the team. Great story there. We love that. This is exactly what we wanted to hear. And then, Riley Green was probably the best player on this team in spring training. And I know spring training is what it is. It's not like your best player is going to be your best player because baseball is all about averages, right? and the water will find its level. And you don't want to like overhype a guy because of a good spring training. But man, he was our best player on both sides of the ball.
Well, his misses were good, and that's what we talked about last week. I think is he had a couple home runs where I don't know if he hit it better than 75%. It's like he popped it up and it went over the fence by accident. So when the guy's missing or not putting his best swings forward, but he's still getting the results in spring, that means that he's working on very specific things. That's what baseball's about. Like, feel good, see the ball, prep yourself for the season. And he just seemed like he was firing on all cylinders.
Seemed like he belonged. Seeing
the ball, like just the way he swings and his body. He's big league ready.
Yeah,
it was clear he was big league ready from the spring. He put up better numbers and everything. He looked more comfortable than Torkelson through the spring as well.
Yep.
So I agree with you. I think he was prepped, ready to go, and it's too bad the timing couldn't get worse for him personally.
Yeah, it really sucks. So what he did is he fouled the ball off his foot, battled through. He actually legged out a triple. Against Garrett Cole.
Yep.
Right? This is all that was happening. And turns out, so I think when he was on 30, I don't know if the inning ended or whatnot, but eventually got taken out of the game, got the x-rays. Turns out it was a broken foot.
Yep.
And, I mean, look, he's young.
It happens.
A broken foot isn't going to be a massive injury or something like that, but if you rush it, it can be, right? It could cause some issues, and that's where I just feel like it's a opportunity for the Tigers to slow it down, and it's almost like, hey, we can keep control of that extra year. Like, it's setting up okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would rather him be on the team. I've said it. I'd rather it. But the fact that the team was ready to put him on the opening day roster and opening day lineup and be our number one outfielder, and that was encouraging to me. That they weren't holding back. And that's what I want to see from the organization. And now I can sit back and be, all right, now we're going to get that extra year.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the best of both worlds in a lot of ways.
Looking on the bright side,
not getting what we want from Riley Green to start the year. I really thought he had a great chance to be Rookie of the Year until that happened, and he still could. I mean, 8 weeks isn't that much.
No,
but when it turns
more
into 14 or something, that's when you can cause some votes, if you will.
Yeah, and even the Martinez kid from Seattle, he's going to be starting with the Mariners with. Now that all of these details have been worked out with the holdout and everything, this is going to be the new norm where we see the top prospects not be held out for the first 2 weeks or first month or whatever to get the extra years. Teams aren't as concerned about that anymore, so they're going to start bringing these guys up when they're ready so they can start competing early. And so, Tigers were obviously willing to do that. He kind of proved himself in camp, and it is what it is now. Now we can look and say, okay, well, maybe he's a rookie next year. This is completely out of our control. It's just a random fluke event, and we can all be happy about it.
No, I agree with that.
Even under bad circumstances.
Yeah.
Right?
So let's get into some of the additions that we added. More of the bigger ones from last year that we're adding to this year. Javi Baez, the shortstop, signed him from the Mets. I think it was
6-year, $140 million deal
with a couple opt-outs in there. So I mean, huge upgrade. Huge upgrade. I mean, what is he going to do? I don't know, but it's going to be a massive upgrade from what we dealt with last year with Nico Goodrum was our starting shortstop on opening day.
Give me a break.
And then we had someone named, what was the kid that came in? I want to say Turner, but it's not Turner.
Oh,
is it?
yeah.
Short.
Andrew Short.
Zach Short.
Zach Short.
Yeah, Zach Short came in and people were like, hey, we like him. No, we don't.
Yeah,
he was fun for a minute.
195 hitter.
Yeah.
And had some jitters.
Yeah, and massive upgrade at a key position, both offensively and defensively. That's going to be fun to watch, and I hope the other things that were added to this roster will kind of relieve some of the stress that he could have felt as being the big name free agent, and kind of feel the weight of the world on his shoulders. But when you get into the other additions and then the rookies and stuff, it's a good mixing pot of where the pressure is going to go. So then outside of more in the rotation, Eduardo Rodriguez, he was the signing, the big signing, I guess, for your rotation. He's going to get opening day nod, which I I thought was interesting over Casey Mize. It felt like they were going to give that to Casey and let him be the new Justin Verlander. But take that stress away, take that extra pressure, and just go out, put somebody out there, and go have a good start. That's been around the league. That's really important when it comes to opening day start.
Yeah, he's
right?
established, and he's been looking good. He's been building up to this recently, and I'm excited about having that lefty break up the rightiness in there too.
Yeah,
like they're going to be going lefty, righty, lefty. I think with Torque,
Skubal. So you got Eduardo, Mize, Skubal, Manning, or Pineda or whatever.
Yep, exactly. So you get that back and forth, and now you're not going to squeeze those lefties right next to each other.
Yeah, I do like that. Pineda was the other signing, if you will, for the depth, rotation depth for the Tigers. This one didn't. It's not a splash by any means. It was I think a 1-year deal, not a ton of money. But he was one of the better pitchers down the stretch last year, and if he can kind of keep that rolling, he could be a good piece, a good 4th or 5th guy, wherever it lands. We need that because we still have 3 young pitchers that were going to be the core of this rotation. And I'm sorry, they're going to go through their bumps. They're going to go through their bruises. They're going to have their arm stuff that they're, all right, we're holding them to 4 innings today and all of that kind of stuff. When you can have a Michael Pineda, who's been around the league, again, another veteran guy, good signing. And it'll be interesting to see how it all gets maneuvered because he's definitely an upgrade from the Tyler Alexander and, the other name's escaping me for the long reliever, Willie Peralta. I guess he's not really a long reliever, but it relieves them to be like, hey, if somebody gets injured, then you bring in the Tyler Alexanders or Willie Peralta and figure that out.
No, I think you nailed it we have a young pitching staff. Like they're going to go through stuff. There's going to be question marks about their durability throughout the season. So when you have a chance to have a guy like this, this isn't going to make them a World Series contender.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not expecting it to be, but this is just another solid signing that we desperately needed, in my opinion. I think we can maybe look forward to some of these younger guys moving forward, some of the prospects coming up too to fill some of these needs.
Yeah.
But I don't want to count on it. I don't want to have to count on it. I want to bring them up when they're ready and let these veterans fill some innings. And even if he turns into a long reliever, who cares? Let's fill some. Let's bridge that gap. If we're having a bad game, toss him in there, let him pitch until the 6th, and then let your relievers take it from there.
Yeah. Another, I think, underrated move that we're kind of forgetting about, and this was actually, I think, last season technically. I think it was before
this was early.
The new calendar season technically started. I feel like it was like during the World Series almost. But the Tigers traded for Tucker Barnhart, who's the catcher, veteran catcher. He's caught some really good pitchers, a playoff leading, catcher, if you will. Like he's caught a playoff rotation, and he's been in the playoffs. He's done what he's done. What he does is not going to explode on the page or anything like that. He's not going to put up numbers that were like, oh, this is awesome. But it's all about how he catches our young rotation and the mix of what he can do with these guys, the Casey Mize and the Tarek Skubal, the Manning, and even the Pineda. Like Rodriguez, like how he catches a game, how he calls a game, how he works with AJ Hinch are the important things of the value that he will bring to this organization.
He's known as a defensive catcher. He's known as a stud behind the plate, and all the advanced stats prove that as well.
Yeah, it's not like a crazy great arm, but he's very technical, right? Like he's a good receiver. He gets those extra calls.
He's athletic behind the plate. Yeah. He calls good pitches. He's able to win strikes on low pitches and outside. He makes it look good for the umpire. So overall, I think it was just a good, solid move to bring another one of these. I like athletic catchers too. I don't know. I think it's a bit of a pet peeve when you just have a big body back there who doesn't ever move his shoulders.
Gerald Laird was really good.
I loved watching him throw back to the pitcher. Yeah, with his right foot.
He was one of the most right hand unathletic human beings I've ever seen.
Clearly, had been through the yips like maybe 4 times because you don't throw like that. You don't get told how to throw like that.
He was so bad. Oh my gosh.
No, but I like
Barnhart. He was
so
funny to watch. Yeah, Barnhart.
Because Barnhart gives you the left-handed bat option as well.
Because he's a switch hitter, right?
Yeah, and his left-handed option I think works really well with Eric Haas.
Now I might be wrong. He was originally a switch hitter. Went
only
to
left.
Then he switched to only being one, and I don't know if it was left or right. I wish I I remember hearing it, but now he's bringing back the switch hitting. He wants to go back to being a switch hitter and stuff, which is good. I mean, switch hitters are always,
they're weird.
They're weird, but they're good to have.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've never understood. I don't know how you did it. Like, it's just crazy to me. But
I just ended up being a bad hitter for a few years until I figured it out.
yeah,
That's how.
yeah.
No, but I agree. It's an underrated signing. It's good for our young pitchers, and the best thing you can do is set up this staff, which is the most important thing for our team long term. Is make sure our staff has everything they need to be successful, and that is a huge part of that's a catcher.
Another big move that happened was yesterday, last night.
Well, we've already talked about Riley Green.
Yeah, the injury to Riley
Green.
Green, and that I think played a lot into what happened with the Tigers traded Isaac Paredes and a second-round pick, or what was the pick? I thought in baseball you couldn't trade picks.
Well, it's the competitive balance B pick.
Okay.
So I think it's most likely, is that a second-round pick or is that a third-round pick? I could look that up while we're
honestly,
talking.
Heading into this, I did not think you could trade draft picks in baseball. I thought that was the rule. Now, it might be a competitive picks. You're allowed to trade those. I don't understand. It blew my mind. I don't know if it was part of the new CBA or I don't know what's going on. It threw me off when I saw that we traded Isaac Paredes. Can we just call him Isaac now that he's not on the team?
Yeah, let's just decide. Just call him one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll just call him Isaac Paredes. And so we traded him and this random pickish thing for Austin Meadows. And what Austin Meadows brings to the team is power that we don't have, right?
Yep.
And I mean, he's not good defensively by any means, but we don't need.
He's a good athlete.
Is he?
Yeah, he's not an amazing athlete, but he's not a defensive liability. I wouldn't call him.
Okay. So I mean, what are your overall thoughts of this trade? Let's start with what Austin Meadows brings.
Well, I think it was 2 years ago, or it could have been 2019. He hit like 291 with 33 home runs, 87, 89 RBIs. I mean, the numbers were just really, really good. And he was an all-star that year. Since then, he's become more of a swing and miss guy. His average has kind of dipped. But what this brings is a left-handed bat that has some pop. And 33 home runs last year, like what you said. And I think that just adds a dynamic to our outfield that was maybe it just didn't exist with the current group. And we were looking for Riley Green to give some of that pop. And I think this just adds another dynamic of just hitting a home run capability at any time. Doesn't matter who's on the mound.
So I did want to quickly correct you. It was 27 bombs last year. 2019 was when he had 33 bombs.
Okay, 2019.
So, yep. But I mean, 104 RBI last year, which is, I mean, he's got power. And one thing that it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but with that type of power, I mean, he had, I have the number here, 29 doubles in playing for the Rays. In my head, Comerica Park is doubles. Like, if he has the power to hit those gaps that can really become a good hitter, like a Candelario type guy. Like, when he gets, it's not about power hitting it over the fence at Comerica Park every time. It's about finding those gaps and being able to run it out and turning those doubles into triples in Comerica Park. I feel like his triples could go up.
And he's got a lot more capability, power capability than Candelario will ever have. So, overall, I think this was a really good response to the injury to Riley Green.
Yep.
This can bridge that gap until Green comes back. But not only that, it gives him even more weapons and maybe even trade opportunities later on in the season. I don't want to limit this to just say it's only a response, but I think it's actually made our team better in the long run.
Yeah.
And it takes a little bit of pressure off of a guy like, Victor Reyes, Derek Hill, some of these younger guys who've been around the organization for a while, but we still don't know what we're going to get. If they hit 20 bombs in a year, like, everybody would be ecstatic.
Exactly.
We expect that from Meadows. It's just a different level of play.
And you need that guy. You need power. You need power in this league. Period. End of story. In this lineup, as fun as we were about it with Torkelson, there's not a whole lot of power.
Well,
but he just made our starting nine that much deeper. So, like, power where you weren't expecting it can all of a sudden start showing, and a guy can start swinging for power more often.
And I like Isaac Paredes. I'm a big fan of his. He sees the ball well. He gets on base. But we have a log jam in the infield at this point, and he wasn't going to get obvious playing time anytime soon. So this to me is something where, like, if he were to eventually have years like what we've seen from Meadows already in the bigs, then we would be pretty excited about the opportunity of him or the capabilities of him, being added to this lineup. So right now we've just kind of traded for just, maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, and the Rays are always looking for more years of control and cheaper options, right?
So looking at the trade from like what do you call it, a 2,000 foot, or what do they say? Whatever, it doesn't matter. You look at the
100-foot view or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I forget how many feet it is, but
that's a long way to hit a baseball.
Yeah, but anyway, it's like
100 feet.
You look, I think I can do that.
2,000. What?
2,000, 20,000. But anyways, like
might be a record.
At first, I was like, "Whoa, we just got Austin Meadows." I love that, and I'm like, credit to Alavila to go out, make a move, be aggressive, and it feels like he just finally won his first trade of his life. That's what my first thought. And then I sat back. I'm like, all right, this is with the Rays, who when was the last time they lost a trade?
Don't lose trades.
They don't lose trades.
Yeah.
Alavila doesn't win trades. So what are we missing here? And like I don't want to put a damper on it because I'm excited about it. I think it's the right move, especially with the logjam. And I feel like it's a little bit of extra confidence. Was that Verona that just scored that? Yeah. He just said yes, it was.
Yeah. He answered you.
So I need one more from
with
him.
His head.
Give me an empty netter, buddy. Going to like I'm sorry, I completely lost track of what I was saying. But the logjam that we have, there wasn't going to get that playing time, and it's a good opportunity for Isaac Paredes too. Now, I also am curious of what that means for third base, because last year it was we moved Candelario to first here and there to make room for Paredes to play. Who fills that need as the backup third baseman?
Well, we have 2 Castros on the bench at this point.
But Willie's doesn't have a good enough arm to play third, right? Willie Castro? I feel like that's what they said. That's why he was better as second baseman, because he didn't have the arm to play short.
He's not a natural. He's got the arm. He just he's got like almost the yips from the infield side where he just doesn't know where it's going right now.
All right.
Harold Castro can play third base. He can fill that need, and I think he's a good guy to just get in the lineup. He can hit 290 for you. He's not going to give you much else more than that.
Yeah.
But he can fill a need. Again, though, I go back to like Javi Baez. If we break down that signing, did we overpay for him? Yeah, I think we did in the long run. Now that we see what the other other shortstops got after the holdout.
Yeah.
So now that we can compare and say, Tiger's overpaid for this, but it's not a ridiculous number. It's not going to destroy our franchise by any means. But what it did, again, is just overall the upgrade of last year's shortstop play and dependability and production from that position compared to what we're expecting out of Baez, even as like maybe an oversigned or overpaid shortstop. It's not even close. You can't compare what he's going to bring. It's going to be way better than the production we got last year on a decent team.
Yep.
Right? And so the same is true out of Meadows here. Is he a swing and miss guy? Is his average low? He's not a very high on base guy. He might walk 50, 55 times a year. And he can strike out 120, 130. Well, who doesn't strike out these days?
Yeah.
He gives you pop, and the production we're going to see out of this guy is well above anything that we're going to get out of Victor Reyes and Derek Hill. That's what I'm seeing. Like those are the guys that are going to step in for Riley Green, and
until he's there.
Until he's there, yeah. And at that point, I'm sure we'll have an injury, and having 4 good outfielders is a good thing. Yep.
So let's get into the starting 9. You got this is a projected starting 9.
This makes me pretty excited. Looking at the starting 9, yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. So starting off would be Akil Baddoo, who's going to start off at center field.
Yeah.
Number 2, you got Robbie Grossman in right field. Javi Baez batting third for shortstop. Again, this is just a projection. It's going to change day in and day out. That's just the way it works nowadays.
Can we just break it down? Those are the top 3 real quick?
Yeah. Start there.
Baddoo hit his 4th home run of the spring today.
Okay.
He's got pop. We know what he brings on the base paths and everything. I really like what he brings. Robbie Grossman's an on-base percentage guy, so he's 250. He hit over 20 bombs last year, 24 or something, 25. So he's got the pop. Number 2, gets on base. I think he's switch hitter. I think he's a perfect number 2 guy for us. Javi Baez, he's got something to prove this year. He was the least popular out of all the shortstops for free agency this year. He's the least popular option that people were looking at.
Yeah.
I think he's going to come with something to prove, and just watch out. He could go off for one of those types of years.
No, that'll be. I hope so. I mean, and then you got Candelario protecting him, which Candelario in the protection world doesn't seem like his fit. Now we'll see where it all plays out. This is obviously a projection. It seems like Torkelson will move up eventually.
Just
protect.
Wait.
Javi Baez type thing.
But Candelario has had this role on the team where he's almost comes in the clutch. He seems to be the clutch guy for the team, and that fourth role just kind of it fits.
So then you got Miguel Cabrera at DH for batting 5th. Austin Meadows, our left fielder, now batting 6th. Jonathan Scope all the way down to 7th, who will be our second baseman. I don't hate it. He seemed like our most professional hitter over the last couple of years.
Yep.
So bringing him down, is that what kind of benefit does that bring?
Well, it just shows the difference in depth.
Yeah.
We're not going to rely on Jonathan Scope to be a number 3 hitter in a lineup.
Yeah.
Like he never should have been in the first place. But when you're the only pro and the rest you're just filling with minor league talent, that's what you get. And that was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that long ago. And now we're talking about a lineup that I'm pretty excited about, and Scope is hitting 7th. Well, that's where he belongs. Like he's going to give decent production out of second base in the 7 hole.
And then you got Torkelson right behind him batting 8th, and then Tucker Barnhart batting 9th. Do you think this will be kind of the everyday roster, if you will, when push comes to shove, when you're playing against your normal righty lineup, or what are we looking at here?
Yeah, I think it definitely could be. I really think that they're going to try to mix up these players as much as they can. I expect the Castros
find their spots. Too,
I expect Castros to get Harold Castro and Willie Castro to get some time. I expect them to get some at bats and fill in pretty regularly, and I think Victor Reyes and Derek Hill will get some time in there too. But overall, the outfield right now feels more solidified than the infield. And so, like, if I don't know, this is kind of hard to explain, but I guess if Torkelson is going through something, they're going to give him days off. They're going to let him clear his mind. I think Candelario too. Like, if you start off the year poorly, sorry, we're going to bring in some one of the Castros to see if he can hit.
Shoot, I forgot what I was going to ask you.
A couple of these guys could move like up as much as like 2 spots in the lineup too. If you look through there, like Baez, Candelario, Miguel Cabrera, Austin Meadows, Jonathan Scope could all bat higher.
In the top 4.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
you could rotate those guys around. I could see. I mean, I don't want to see it. I hope everybody just hits 280 and above, and
that'd be awesome.
You don't have to touch the lineup. But I could see a guy like Robbie Grossman or Akil Baddoo swapping spots, or one of them dropping back towards a little bit lower in the lineup.
Yeah, sure.
And bumping a guy up just to get a little more pop at the top. But they all have it.
Grossman feels like he could be a really good 9 hitter.
Yeah,
and kind of turn that lineup over and have that second leadoff guy instead of your number 1 being your only lead. You know what I mean?
He's such a professional hitter.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be at 9, but I get to the point. Yeah, it makes sense.
Now, I remember what I was going to ask you. So, obviously, I don't watch Houston. I didn't watch Houston in their heyday and stuff, but in my head, they had their starting 9 and they stuck with it, and that was kind of their go-to. Like, they would have a few guys go in and out. Now, do you feel like the Tigers are deeper than what the Astros were? That AJ Hinch will do that and kind of go away from what worked for them with the Astros, or are we still too early to kind of compare AJ Hinch with the Astros and Tigers with the Astros?
Well, I think what they had was a couple of guys that moved all over the field, and they didn't have their spot, but they were everybody else's filler.
Okay.
And I'm blanking on his name. He's bounced around the league now quite a bit. I think he's with the Yankees right now, isn't he?
I don't know.
Old Astros guy, shortstop sometimes when Correa was out, but either way. So I see a guy like Jonathan Scope. Like, how often have we seen him play first base in recent years?
Yeah, a lot.
A ton, right? Yeah. So then a guy like Candelario, DH instead of Cabrera if he needs some days off. And then you get Torkelson moving to third. Like this, I just feel like these guys are not locked into their only position that they play like a lot of the guys on Houston was doing. Right? So Correa was going to play shortstop no matter what.
Yeah.
I think I don't see, like, I guess Baez is our shortstop no matter what too. But even him, like, he played second base last year. He's played third base in the past for the Cubs. These guys are pretty fluid. Like, they can play multiple positions.
Just ball players. Now, do you think the backup third baseman trading Paredes opens the door back up for a Torkelson to play a little more third than what it sounded like they were getting ready to do? Because it sounded like they were ready to just pull the plug on the third base experiment and make him the first baseman. They did the whole glove thing with Miguel Cabrera, all that kind of stuff. Now, that's one of the first things that came to my mind was, all right, well, then does that just mean Torkelson will play third when Candelario needs a day off? And then that's when Cabrera plays first, or Scope moves to first, and, like, I don't know, like,
and then Willie Peralta or Willie Castro goes to second, and then
it just felt like the Torkelson at third base was done. But then it crossed my mind when this trade happened, maybe it's not. And I don't know if it's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. I don't know if it really even matters, but it's just something that came to mind. So
yeah, I think, again, it was a response to the injury for Riley Green. We wanted to stay competitive. It actually made our team better in the long run, even when Riley Green comes back.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm excited
Make
about
somebody
that.
expendable, too.
Yeah, and I, Paredes, as much as I really, really liked him, I don't think he's an amazing defensive third baseman. So it's not like it's a Matt Chapman over there and you're worried about, Candelario's defense compared to Chapman's. No, it's not the same kind of player. Like, was he a good player? Yeah, but he's not going to make your franchise super great right now. I just like the depth. I think we have a lot of different options. People can move all over the place. We have a lot of starters on our bench right now from years past.
Which is weird because we've had a lot of AA starters in our starters.
Yeah.
We've also got a lot of comments rolling in from a longtime listener and also a podcast hoster himself.
Oh, the happiest podcast guy.
Jarrett Fenema tuning in.
Ooh, heard of him.
How did you know that? That was a good guess.
Well, first, he's got a
lot of comments.
Jared,
what are you drinking, man?
Yeah, first of all,
his own beer.
He wanted
beer?
since we were talking about the Rays and acquiring Meadows, he wanted to bring up, what is it called, the AL East or something.
AL East and how great the AL East
Yeah,
is.
something about, like, thoughts on one of the best moments ever in baseball when the Red Sox beat the Tigers in the playoffs and
is that a football game?
Torrey Hunter flipped over the outfield wall for the home run. He wanted our thoughts. We can skip that one, but
David Ortiz is one of the biggest pieces of what I've ever seen.
Was he on steroids at that point?
I'm sure he was.
Yeah, I think he was.
But they don't like talking about that.
Oh yeah, we don't talk about that one.
He's a media guy now, so let's just sweep that under.
Even
the
though
rug.
he's actually been proven
he
tested
positive. He has more positive tests than Barry Bonds. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay. All right. No, a good game though.
What do you call Mario holding a candle? What do you call Mario holding a candle?
Candle Mario? I don't know.
Third baseman.
I guess his answer was Candelario. And finally, he wants our debate. If you wear no undershirt when wearing a baseball jersey, you need to wear a silver or gold chain. Otherwise, you look like a goober.
He's going for the goober look. So perfect. Thank you. That's a very good compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Jarrett. Always ready to.
Man, these comments they're so good, right?
Yeah, he's hyping us up for sure.
Yeah, thanks, Jarrett. Anyways, let's get into the
listener Jarrett comes
the
through
rotation. Let's get into the rotation here. So Casey Mize, Rodriguez, Tarek Skubal, Matt Manning, and Pineda. Seems like they're going to be the starting five for when this season starts, and until it goes otherwise. And then you got the Willie Peraltas and Tyler Alexanders that can be the long-term relievers or come in for that extra day if they need it.
You hate Tyler Alexander.
I don't hate Tyler.
It seems like you hate Tyler Alexander.
I hated Tyler Alexander as a starter.
Okay.
I want him to be a long reliever. I like him as a long reliever.
He was a good spot starter for us last year.
He had 2 good spot starts.
Okay. I kind of like him. I think he's one of those guys that I root for because he doesn't have the stuff to be a major leaguer, to be a big leaguer, but he gets people out.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't hate him. I like Willie Peralta better, personally.
No, I think Spencer Turnbull too. We were talking before the podcast started about where he fits in this, and maybe we could do some research on that too before we completely just write him off for the season, because I think he's supposed to come back at some point. I just don't know when.
Okay.
And he was just signed today for a 2-year to avoid arbitration.
Yeah, which is nice to get that done. Yeah.
Just today actually, and that was I like to see that because I like Turnbull. I hope he is part of the long-term plans for the Tigers.
Well, I mean, he was the one with the no-hitter last year before the injury, which was cool.
Yep.
I mean, he's one of the probably a completely different pitcher, but he reminds me of like a Max Scherzer that when it's on, it's on. It's on early, and you know that he's going to have a nice long start, and he's dialed in, if you will. I don't know the ins and outs of why that's my thought, but like it just feels like he's got that it factor when it's all clicking, when it goes bad. And you know what? A better example would probably be Matt Boyd, I guess. Like when he was on, it was lights out. He came close to a no-hitter once.
Well,
he was two outs in the ninth against White Sox.
Yeah, Matt Boyd's not an uncomfortable at bat, and I think Spencer Turnbull is an uncomfortable at bat at times. Okay. Like where people just don't really know what's coming. Everything's coming out of the same, the same keyhole. There you go. And he when he's on is what you were going with. But I think his downfall was always like the 5th inning. If he could get through the 5th inning and into the 6th and start doing stuff, then it was a good outing. 3rd time through the lineup, that's when guys started jumping all over him and they'd start getting on base, and that's why his ERA was not in the 2s. Like he was honestly a really great pitcher in the first 4 innings, and he was starting to figure that out, and then all injuries kind of happened.
So let's talk a little bit about the younger guys. You still got Casey Mize, Tarek Skubal, Matt Manning. It feels like this is time to release Casey Mize and Tarek Skubal and let them
release them.
Release them. See if we can get
like them.
Take it easy there, Avila.
Get a compensation pick or something if they get picked up. No, but release them to the wild and let them kind of be the Bulldogs if that's who they're going to be. And I don't know if it fits their personalities. I don't know all of that, but don't have the inning count. Don't have the pitch count. You got to have a pitch count. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Now, Matt Manning, who came
Don't
up
go in
more,
with a plan for 3 innings because you're trying to limit, their long season potential.
Now, Matt Manning, on the other hand, he jumped in the rotation later on in the year. I think it was more mid-season, maybe even later, the back half of the season that he started to get those starts. Are they still going? Is he the only one that you'd be like, you understand them having an inning count or that kind of stuff, or like treat them a little special, or would you be okay with treating the other two with those same kid gloves, if you will?
No, I think all 3 of them should be let go.
Yeah, but even Manning? Because he's been in the system longer than both Mize and...
He has. He's come up more naturally and put in quite a few innings earlier on in his career than the other two, as far as like professional innings. I think Manning, maybe you have to monitor how the season is going a little bit more. So if he is struggling, then you can start to say, if he doesn't get out of the 3rd or get out of the 4th, or he's or you monitor the number of like challenging innings, because those are actually more stressful than overall pitches, in my opinion. But if you go into those like stressful innings with Manning, then I would start to say maybe skip some starts here and there. But I don't want on a game to game basis. I don't want to limit to 3 or 4 or 5 innings. I don't like that.
I don't like that either. Don't let him be a starter then.
Yeah, exactly. Let him go 6. Let him go 7 if he's ready, if he's on, if he's effective still.
Yeah.
And then teach him how to get deep in the game. If you always have kid gloves on, you pull him out of the game early, then you never know what he can do. You never let him get there.
Yep. And one thing that I liked about the way AJ Hinch handled more or less Casey Mize and Tarek Skubal is he would go into a game and be like, yeah, they're going to get, this is last year, 3 or 4 innings, right? That's what he would say, like, prior to the game. Like, that's what we're expecting. But their pitch count's low. Their stressful innings were low. No, we'll give him the 5th or the 6th.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, he's okay with adjusting and not sticking to it. And he kind of runs his bullpen the same way, which we'll get into here in a minute. But the starting rotation is a great mix. And I don't want to say it's like 2016. And I know that's the easy comparison and stuff. Or, sorry, 2006, not 2016. But this feels higher end even than what those guys were supposed to be. Like, I don't know. I'm really excited about what those three can do, and when you combine them with Rodriguez
is
who
key.
can take away that stress. He can be the guy that's, put it on my shoulders. Don't put it on Casey Mize or Tarek Skubal when we go on a 3-game losing streak. Let me be the one that's supposed to stop the bleeding.
Which is what a number one's supposed to do.
Yep.
They come back after the 5, after the 4-5.
Is he a number one, or is he just our number one for now?
I don't actually care. Because
No?
I think Casey Mize could be our number one really soon. Yeah, I think
Because
he
what
could
was
be
he?
there.
What was he with the Red Sox? He was like a 4 starter, I think, with the Red Sox, right?
The last couple of years, he's been there 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Consistently.
He's been one of the pitchers that has started and finished the season the entire time in the rotation. And little side note, Spencer Turnbull is expected to return at the beginning of 2023.
Oh,
Okay,
he
so
is supposed
they
to miss
did
the whole
basically.
year.
Yeah,
cut him out.
I think originally they said that there was a chance he'd come back maybe mid to late August and have a chance at maybe a major league debut. But
Yeah.
I don't think that was going to be.
It'll
part
be
of
interesting to
his
see
rehab
if they
assignment.
adjust if this team's in it. I don't want to jump the gun and say that they're going to be true contenders or anything like that. I think we're still a little ways from that, and everything has to basically be hitting for that to really happen. But if they are, is that your trade deadline move? You know what I mean? So instead of selling a asset to bring in, kind of make him be the Anibal Sanchez for that 1 year where he was out most of the year, and instead of coming in and being a starter, be like, all right, we can give you a couple innings in key situations, and you're our best bullpen guy now because that's what you are. I mean, that'll be interesting to see if they kind of adjust their timeline, if you will, for that type of guy in injury. But anything more on the rotation, or want to move on here?
I think with Mize, Eduardo Rodriguez, and Tarek Skubal, you have 3 solid starting pitchers there. Now, any one of them, if any one of them emerges as a true number one, then I think our rotation looks really, really good. If all 3 of them are somewhere in the high 3s ERA and they're not they don't feel like a number one yet, I still think they're going to be adequate. They're going to be good. It's still a good trio. But I'm hoping out of one of those 3 that one just emerges as an ace.
The guy.
We
need somebody
this year. Yeah.
We need one of them too.
Turn into the guy.
So let's jump real quick on the bullpen. We got Gregory Soto, who is considered our closer.
He's our guy.
Michael Fulmer's in there. Jose Cisnero. I'm assuming they're going to go. I'm assuming it's going to be Cisnero 8, Soto 9, typical, right? Obviously, depending on matchups and all that kind of stuff, but that's kind of what we did most of the year last year, and it seems like that's what they're trying to set up to do until they're proven to not. But you have Michael Fulmer, who also has that bulldog mentality.
Yeah.
He can be the 9th inning guy. He can be the 8th inning guy. He can be the 1 out in the 7th. And then you start really digging into Andrew Chafin. Really underrated signing here.
Oh, yeah.
He's
a difference maker.
He's a difference maker. He's got the attitude that fits what this team needs to do. Coming out of the bullpen. Fun. Kyle Funkhauser, little bit of injuries. I think he's going to start hurt, but what he did last year was important at times. Then you got Joe
stuff.
Jimenez too, or Jimenez. I know he's had his ups and downs.
He looks good right now.
He still has his stuff. He still has the stuff that people were excited about. It just needs to kind of come together and work out for him. Those, 5 or 6, if you will, I don't know how many I named, are. There's a lot of teams that would take that group, if you will.
Our bullpen is legit. This is,
and that's huge to have.
Absolutely, especially with, again, going back to the young starting rotation. If they're in a pinch, we have enough guys to get us through several rotations of bad outings.
Yep.
To cover those innings. And we saw it last year. They were very effective last year, but they also covered a lot of innings. And as our starting pitchers get better, that's only going to set up these guys to be more effective and for A.J. Hinch to have more options in the late innings. And what you were saying about Cisnero being an 8th inning guy, I think Chafin is an 8th inning guy. I think Michael Fulmer's an 8th inning guy. I think Jimenez could be an 8th inning guy. I think Alex Lang has a good enough arm to be a 7th inning guy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these guys, Jason Foley, another young reliever who is going to add a lot of depth to this group, and we're in a good spot with our bullpen. I think again people will start to shine and like turn into maybe their role more.
Yep.
And I'm okay with the competitive atmosphere where guys can step up and make that be their role. And what I love is when we're in the 6th inning and we can even have multiple guys to cover the 6th inning. We can have a guy to get to the 7th and then 8th and then a 9th. And it's like, where do they stand a chance?
Yeah.
You know, like if we can't get through the 6th, we're not out of options. We can finish this game.
When this team was bad last year, our bullpen was bad. A lot of these guys that we're going to relying on, they were bad. But they were also very stressed because we had to shorten a lot of starts. Where we were pulling guys out in the 4th and 5th inning constantly, like for weeks on end, where it was just causing stress, extra stress on this bullpen that you don't want to have. Now, if our starters can go longer, our bullpen will stay healthier. And another thing that's an underrated point about all of these guys that we've mentioned is they're not lefty righty specialists. That's a thing of the past. It feels like you need guys that can go out and get outs, and you need guys that have starter stuff with the extra bulldog mentality that's like, this is my inning, I'm going to get this inning and I'm done. I'm all in right now, And I feel like Fulmer kind of fits that mold, and where Gregory Soto might, I don't know, fit more of the closer mentality of this is my thing, like
Soto's the epitome of just an uncomfortable at bat.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like as a hitter,
you don't know where it's going.
As a hitter, would you want to face him?
I wouldn't want to face anything.
No, he's got so many
I wouldn't want to
parts.
face Zach Short either.
He's got so many body parts just flying all over the place, and it's 99, 100 miles an hour. Like, that's not comfortable at bat. And his numbers back it up. So
okay.
I don't know where you started with that, but yeah, I like.
So uncomfortable at bat is something that I need to keep a better eye on, it sounds like. Because you brought that up a couple times. And you like it. But, I mean, baseball guy, catcher, you get it. Or hitter, too. Like, it's not like you only caught, you hit, too.
Yeah.
But uncomfortable at bats are important. And even in this level, is if you can make the best hitter uncomfortable, he's going to be an average hitter.
Yeah. Yeah, and just in hand speed and arm speed and all that stuff. So if you have a guy that's a little bit wild but effective, and then you also have, like, you can't even pick up on his hand speed or know the difference between off speed and fastball, and everything's jumping at you at really high speed, that's just an opportunity for hitters to be in their own head and to have the game speed up on them. And, the best hitters in the world can slow everything down. But even major league hitters don't slow everything down. There's a few of them who end up being Hall of Famers.
All right. So I did want to set some season goals and tell me if I'm wrong or give me yours as well. But for me, they're very, very simple. Truly contend for this division. Just be relevant, I guess, is where I'm at. It's not for me. It's not for the fans. But it's for A.J. Hinch to stay. That opt-out is looming to me. And I know I'm probably overthinking it because it seems like A.J. Hinch really wants to be here, but it's absolutely scares the crap out of me. I want him to stay more than anything. I think he is the key piece. He is more important than Al Avila. He is more important than the money that Chris Ilitch can spend or won't spend or whatever you want to get into, ownership. A.J. Hinch is the key to this working. And they need to show him that they're willing to go in. I think they have. They spent the money. They've probably had him involved with a lot of the transactions that they made. This trade tells me for Austin Meadows is we're not willing to lose this in the first couple months like we did last year. We want to make sure that we have somebody that, like people always say, you can't win the division in the first 30, 45 games of a season, but you can sure as hell lose it. And that's what they're trying to protect themselves for, is not losing this division just because the depth isn't as there in our outfielders, So for me, it is show that this organization's willing to go another level and show it to A.J. Hinch. That's who I care about. That's who I want to know is not going to opt out at the end of the year. Get him a new contract, sign him, get rid of the opt-out, and solidify what this organization is going to be. And he is going to be the face outside of the players. He is going to be the guy, and this is a great opportunity to do it. So I don't know. That's my vision, is just don't give A.J. Hinch any reason to leave.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I think compete.
Yeah.
We see with betting odds, it's difficult to go from barely under 500 to a great team. Like more often than not, you stay at the barely over or under 500. Like it's difficult to become a really good team and win the majority of the time. It's easier to stay in the middle of the pack, right around 500. So, the moves that it's going to take to get there is going to be very important. I think they're banking on these young guys developing as being the anchors of this team, which is why they didn't sell the whole farm this offseason. So I appreciate that where we are, but I agree with you. Stay balanced in your attack where we want to invest right now. We want to spend money right now, but then also let these young guys come up and be the face of the franchise.
Yep. Be relevant. That's where I'm at, is they need to be relevant. Yeah.
He's a competitor, right? Like AJ Hinch is the ultimate competitor. He's the guy that didn't care about numbers or was creative in his managerial style with relievers and everything else back in 2016-17. Let him go through that again. Let him get creative. Think about different ways to play defense. Like I don't care. Throw the whole, give him full control and just say, hey, take it. Yeah. Like we've given you a competitive team here. Are we a World Series contender? It'd be great. I don't expect it this year, but I agree.
At least be building
Stick
towards
around.
that.
Stick around.
Yep. So we'll get into some of the players. I want to start with breakout player. I have one. Do you guys have a breakout player that stands out to you outside of mine? Or
I didn't see what you have, but I do have a breakout player.
Who's your breakout player?
I'm a huge Tarek Skubal guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think being the big left-handed pitcher that he is, he has so much upside still that is just untapped potential. And if he can really learn how to hone in his off speed, his fastball already seems unhittable at times. And if he could just start being really consistent with his control and his angles of his off speed at the same keyhole from his fastball, he's going to be a number one.
Yeah,
I think he could be if he realizes his potential, I think he could be better than Casey Mize.
When you're a lanky lefty, you're basically given a head start. But when you have the stuff to go with it, you can become absolutely dominant very quickly.
Yes.
And it's something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah. Excited.
For me, I actually went with Riley Green. And I know the injury can be an issue. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks and then probably 3 or 4 in the minors. I expect that. I hope it's low. But I just think he's ready to explode on the scene of not only the Tigers in Detroit, but just in this league. I think he could be the guy that people are talking about. I really do. He's our best do-it-all athlete. And for everyone who fell in love with a guy like Badu last year, who was like, oh my gosh, this guy, he does it all. He's so fast and he hits the ball. Just wait till you see a truly elite prospect do the same stuff that Badu did, but only better. People are going to fall in love with this guy so stinking fast. And the reason why I picked him over a Torkelson is because when things get tough for a Torkelson, it's going to get really tough. And it seems like he's kind of a one-trick pony. That might not be fair, but that's
not true.
But it feels like it, right? It feels.
How dare you?
But the perception is he's going to go out and hit 40 bombs. Like that's what we're told. That's what we were told from the day one when we were picked him. That's what we have envisioned. Whether it's fair or not, I think it's unfair. But the perception of him will be he's a one-trick pony. If he's not hitting home runs, he's not doing anything else. Where I feel like Riley Green, when things get tough with the bat, he's going to do it on the defensive side, and it's measurable. It's not just a good first baseman. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a good first baseman, you only notice when he's bad, right?
Yeah.
It's just about catching the ball and not making mistakes.
I'm okay with your answer. I just don't like your explanation for why.
But you understand the perception
I get it.
Tigers fans, not necessarily baseball elite, but Tigers fans will have. That's kind of where I'm going with, and that's why I went with Riley Green.
Got it. I like Riley
John,
Green.
Who wins, me or Ryan?
He had something to say until he said that. Yeah.
He said no comment.
I put Akil Baddoo there. I know that last year was kind of his breakout because he started from nowhere and he made a name for himself. I think this is a big year for him, especially with Riley Green hurt. I think it gives him a little bit more of a leash because you're going to need a body out there. And Jarrett, who is Fred Flintstone's favorite MLB player? Yabba Dabba Doo. So that's why I shook my head. Between you and Ryan, man, I do like Tarek Skubal too, and I think it's a big piece to have in your rotation when you got a left-handed arm coming over the top like that. But
so basically, from what I heard, is John does not like Riley Green.
I do love Riley Green.
Oh,
I don't
sorry.
like broken foot like Riley Green. I didn't like. I didn't like broken ankle myself either. So
Yeah.
like, there's a lot of connection there. So I was on that hype train too. It was another bat coming in. He's a true hitter. Like he's a hitter.
A ball player, yeah.
And that's what we need. And it would have been nice to see him flash his stuff this year.
All right, real quick, rebound player. Ryan, do you have one?
Oh, man. Rebound player, I'm going to go with Candelario. And I know that he had a decent year last year. He had his ups and downs for sure. But with a lineup constructed the way it is right now, he's going to be in the middle somewhere. So 4, 5, 6, I don't care. But he's going to have protection. He's going to be way more or have way more of a potential impact on this team. And the RBIs could come. And he could actually end up being, if his power returns, he could be a 20-homer guy with 100 RBIs. Like if this offense really clicks, we could see multiple 100 RBI type of production from the middle of the lineup. And Candelario's in a prove it year for me. I think he will. I think he's a professional hitter. He doesn't get off balance too often. He can get beat inside because he's got a kind of a slow, lazy swing at times, but he really shortened that up middle of the year last year, and I feel like he could continue that. And every year it's going to take a slump for him to figure something out. That's my perception of him. But I think this is his year to really prove himself.
Yeah. I went with actually Willie Castro. And I have a hard time with this one because I'm not sure he's going to get the playing time it's going to take to be a rebound player. I feel like he's going to kind of be the last guy off the bench for the most part. But what he did 2 years ago when he hit 349, very small sample size, I get that.
Yeah.
To fall off and hit 220 like he did, I feel like he's in the role that he's going to have, it can be very beneficial to a guy like this. And I'm very interested to see the way it's going to work. Again, I don't know if he's going to get the playing time to be truly considered. What's going on here? Truly considered a rebound player because it's just not there. It's not available for him. But that's where I went. And I get the Candelario one, though. I think both of those could happen. So Dark Horse MVP, I'm going to go first with this one, and then you can jump in. But I'm going to go with Austin Meadows. I really think a professional hitter. He's going to come in and be the power, be the guy to just – it might not be the prettiest. He's going to strike out a lot. That's all there. But he's the mix between veteran and the young guy, if you will. He's not a Scope who he's probably – Scope's probably not as old as I have in my head.
He's really not, yeah.
But like Austin Meadows kind of fits that gap of the young guys with a lot of pressure and the veteran who you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He kind of falls right in that. He's a tweener when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I'm interested to see what he's going to do, and I think he can be kind of really important to this lineup.
Well, baseball is such a head game, right? So, like, if you have the confidence, if you think of yourself as the guy, that can go a long way. And I think bringing him in this organization where Parker Meadows is one of the prospects in the minors.
Yeah, his brother, yeah.
His brother, I think it makes a difference. I really do. I think it could make him expect himself. Like, it could play a mind game in his own brain to say, like, hey, you're the guy, act like it, like you're the example for your little brother and everything else. Like, they traded for me, it feels good to be wanted, and everything that comes with that. I agree. I think that's a really good Dark Horse MVP. Mine is going to be Torkelson.
Yeah.
I feel like
even as a one-trick pony?
He's just not. He's just not a one-trick pony. This guy's a really good hitter, and when he gets hot, he will show people what he's capable of. I'm not expecting him. I'm not going to say like he's going to just be in the MVP race through the end of May or anything like that. But last year in the minors he started off slow, and then what happened when June came around?
He was killing the ball.
He mashed in June and July. It was insane. He went from high A ball with the Whitecaps to AAA, and it was just nonstop hitting from there. So the dude can hit, and he has one of the highest hit grades. If you go back to when he was drafted, he's one of the highest hit grades they've ever given out. I think it was an 80 grade for drafting in baseball. It's a lot. So I'm just, if everything clicks with him, if he can stay on off speed, if he believes in his hand speed and everything, and to hit the high balls and everything, he could just take off. He could really be a true rookie of the year candidate that blows everybody else out of the water.
John, did you have anything?
Just a couple more comments coming in. Jarrett,
if it's another bad joke from Jarrett, I think we should just cut it off, right?
Jarrett wants to know, what type of land does Austin Meadows prefer? Question mark.
Mountains. Yep.
A meadow. All right. I'm gonna butcher this. I'm really sorry, Jackie.
You think? Wait, before we get into that, you think Jarrett would like to have Eduardo Rodriguez on the Red Sox right now after Chris Sale goes down?
I'm sure he just sold his jersey on eBay or something.
All right, sorry.
What was Jackie going to say?
Jackie N. This was a tough one last week. I think it was because we were drinking those. Yeah, corner man.
So it's easy. So it's easy this week, right?
No, not the beers I had on the boat earlier. Nedzelsky.
Sounds right.
I'm sorry, Jackie. Just a quick question for us. Are the Tigers going to get canceled on Friday because they're talking 87% chance of snow and rain?
I will be so mad. So I take a half day every time that we every Tigers opening day, home opener.
Oh my gosh.
So I have a half day on Friday. We're set to go to Coopersville Brewing Company.
Oh, nice.
So we freaking better not get rained
Man,
out. I would be so furious if we get rained out.
I did not even look at the weather. I didn't know that was an option.
I didn't think. Yeah, I'm stressed now.
I'm
really stressed about that now. Thanks, Jackie.
If I don't end up in Niagara Falls, I'll be at Coopersville Brewing on Friday.
You might not be going to
It's
Niagara?
a little bit up in the air right now. Yeah,
weather permitting.
Something like that.
Weather permitting. Opening day in Niagara Falls,
All right, Ryan, start us off with under the radar player. Will I go check on the kids?
Okay, go ahead and check on them. My under-the-radar player is Robbie Grossman, outfielder. Last year, he was really, I feel like he was the most dependable hitter within the lineup on a regular basis. He is the walk king of this lineup, so he's going to be on base. And with the production, the added production that we have signed with Javi Baez, with Austin Meadows, with Scope being down on the lineup, that'll just open up the opportunity for Robbie Grossman to score, just be on base and make a difference and score more often than he has previously. But not only that, his power really came through last year, and people are just they're forgetting his name in this lineup, and I think he is way more of an impact player and way more of a professional hitter who will do the little things like show the rest of the lineup what the pitcher is offering, because he saw 9 and 10 pitches, 3 at bats in a row. Long term, over the course of a season, that makes a really, really big difference. And not only the lineup, but also getting rid of the starting pitcher early on in the game and everything else that professional hitters are really good at. Robbie Grossman has that kind of a feel to him. He's going to be in the lineup every single day. He's consistent. I think watch out. He's definitely under the radar in my mind.
That was one thing too from last year. I noticed is usually you have guys that are all like power first, right? Just trying to hit bombs and aren't trying to foul off pitches, waiting for their pitch. They're too impatient at the plate.
Yeah.
Where he's got that combination of both. Where, like you said, he's always in a 7, 8, 9 pitch at bat. And then he still has the potential to burn you if you throw the wrong pitch to him.
Yeah.
And like you said, that takes a toll on the starting pitchers as the season goes on. And I think, especially with the way Major League Baseball is nowadays, they're trying to watch the number of pitches guys are throwing, the pitch count and everything else. I guess in the pitch clock, too. Like, the flow of the game, he can disrupt that in more than one way.
Yeah, I think Robbie Grossman's a good one.
Robbie Grossman.
I actually went with Tucker Barnhart. For the reasons I kind of already brought up, I think he's just an underrated, not really underrated, but what he's going to do is not going to be measurable the addition to him is such a massive upgrade from what we were dealing with when it comes to. If you look at the catchers at the starting of the year last year, who I can't even remember their names because the two guys were released or gotten rid of before.
Grayson Griner.
I think Griner was number 2, but there was a guy that
Jake Rogers in there.
He ended up coming up and performed well before the injury. But there was the starting catcher. I can't think of his name. He was the exact opposite of what Barnhart is. Terrible receiver, not really even a good hitter. Like it was just bad.
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah,
before Eric Haas and all that too.
Yeah, it was before Eric Haas exploded on the scene. All that stuff. I mean, John, can you pull up who the starting catcher was for the Tigers last year? But I don't know. I like what Tucker Barnhart brings. I think that was the first move of being like, hey, we're gonna upgrade. We're gonna upgrade all of our positions basically, and upgrading at catcher with the Jake Rogers injury was important, and they went to it before the season even ended. I feel like, and I love that one. While John looks up who the catcher was, because it's going to bother me.
Well, the numbers won't tell the story all the way, and that's a good under-the-radar pick because a guy that will have a big impact on the team, but you might not necessarily see it in a batting average or home runs or RBIs. Eric Haas, I fully expect to be an offensive weapon on this team.
Yeah, yep.
But Barnhart might be the base. He might be the core. He might be like the foundation of the catching group.
Mm-hmm. Any prospects that you want to keep a closer eye on? I think they're the bigger names are out there, obviously, that we're all interested with the Dylan Dinglers of the world, and I don't even want to consider our other guys prospects. Torkelson's no longer a prospect; he's on the team. Riley Green is no longer a prospect; he is a Detroit Tiger. That's the way I want him.
That's fun.
Setting it in stone. What?
Austin Romine.
He was on there, but there was also one more.
I got Romine. I have Haas. I have Grayson Griner.
Jake Rogers.
Jake Rogers. That's all it's showing.
You might be thinking of 2 years ago. Saltalamacchia? Not Saltalamacchia.
That's the name that keeps coming to mind, but I know it wasn't him.
Okay, all right.
No, I'm telling you, we signed somebody.
It was like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago.
Oh, man, it's gonna bother the crap out of me. Do you have like the opening day roster from 2021? Maybe type in that. I feel like he was the opening day catcher.
I feel like it was Romine, but
no, it wasn't.
No, okay.
No.
Right.
Romine's a better catcher than the person I'm thinking of. Because there was also the outfielder that
Don Kelly.
Yeah, Don Kelly.
Nailed it. Got it.
Anyway, all right. Prospects, under the radar prospects, top prospect. Anybody that you're keeping a close eye on that could even contribute to this season. That's kind of where I wanted to focus on.
Wilson Ramos.
Wilson Ramos.
Yeah, he was leading MLB in home runs
for
like
catchers,
3 games into the season.
Oh,
he had like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Slugging percentage too. I think he mixed in like a couple doubles too. And it was just like through the roof.
Yeah, and he was awful, and he got released, I think.
I remember. Yeah, he did. I remember on this podcast when we were just like blowing up about him and Badu, and I was trying to just keep everybody like, just hold on, he'll come back to life.
Thank you. Oh, that was gonna bother me. I'm so glad we got that figured out.
Okay, back to the prospects, right?
Yeah.
Top prospects, not counting the obvious ones that we all know about.
Yeah.
So I think Ryan Kreidler.
I hear Kreidler on the radio.
Do you hear Kreidler?
Yeah,
Okay.
I hear Kreidler. Yep.
I've always said Kreidler, but I've heard the same thing. So Kreidler is a unique prospect. He's listed as a shortstop. He's played shortstop all through the minors, but he's 6'4", 208 pounds. He's a
That's
big
more
dude.
of a third base body, right?
Definitely could be, yeah. But he's not a typical. He doesn't have the. He's a good hitter, average wise, and he gets on base, but he doesn't have a ton of power.
Okay.
So interesting prospect if he starts getting more mass to him and he starts learning how to hit the ball up instead of on a line. He could really benefit from that, and he might turn into a really good big league hitter. Still yet to be seen. So he's an interesting guy. He could definitely fill a role in case of an injury or something.
Would he fill the role of Isaac Paredes?
I think he's pretty similar, and he might have taken the pressure off of getting rid of Paredes to have a guy like this in the background. And then I see Joey Wentz and Alex Vallejo. I'm thinking more Joey Wentz for a guy that really could have made this roster if his innings were good enough from last year.
So he was coming off of Tommy John 2 years ago, didn't pitch at all in 2020, and then came back late last year, right? Not late, mid.
And had COVID stuff going on too during the year.
But he was part of a trade that would be. What trade was that?
We got him from the Braves for Shane Green.
Okay. Yep.
And he came in and he was dominant for a double A team at the time when he came in for after the trade. And then last year, there's a lot of coming back from injury and COVID related stuff and everything else. But he looked impressive enough in the spring where he, I think, carved out a role and he got the attention of the big league club. And now it's a matter of maybe limiting his innings early in the year so that he can make an impact late if needed.
Okay.
So I like
Joey
Wentz.
That was a very interesting one to me. And Alex Faedo is interesting only because he has something that made him an elite prospect at one point. I think he was in Baseball America top 50 at one point, right?
Yeah.
When we traded for him. When we got him part of the trade.
Alex Faedo, we drafted him. First round draft pick out of Florida.
Gotcha. Who am I thinking of?
I don't know. It's a good question.
All right. Doesn't matter. But Alex Faedo, it's just injury after injury. It never seems to be falling into place. He's 26 years old. It feels like it's a last-ditch effort, and he might be the one that if something hits the fan, he might get that call up and see if he can strike gold, right? See if it just needed to get to the majors for it to finally click, because that happens sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of with you go back to Matt Manning. He wasn't having a good year at AAA, and they called him up, and then he kind of found his thing with the majors, and they didn't send him back down. Can that happen with Alex Faedo? Probably not. I feel like it's done, but you got to take a chance at some point. That's one guy that I think is interesting because at some point this year, I feel like he's going to be a Tiger. It's just because he has to be.
He's a swing and miss guy. He's always gotten a lot of strikeouts, a lot of swing and miss. Sometimes that comes with walks too, but he was part of that Double-A team that included Matt Manning, Casey Mize, even Joey Wentz and Alex Faedo. They were untouchable down the stretch for that team, and it was fun to watch. He was a huge part of that at the time, and injuries have kind of gotten in the way. But I agree with you. I think if he finds himself in a role on the big league club, I think he could stick around. Like, he's one of those types of talents that could just flourish in the moment and take advantage of every opportunity.
Yeah, he just needs to find the opportunity to do it. And hopefully he doesn't. I mean, honestly, with the depth that we have, it would be great if he doesn't even get a sniff. But
I'll take a fifth starter.
At 26, we need to find something out of this guy at some point. One that stood out to me was Cody Clemens, mainly because of the Paredes trade. Him and Kreidler stood out to me with that because, look, Cody Clemens isn't going to be an elite prospect by any means. I think he's 12 or 15, like somewhere in that range for our current prospect pool. It's not going to be an elite prospect, but will he be the one to get that opportunity to become a utility guy quicker than maybe he should, just because of this open spot with Paredes? That was a name that came to my mind.
He's got a lot of tools. He can hit the ball really far when he connects. He's a good runner. He plays good defense. He checks a lot of boxes. He just hasn't produced the way we want him to produce. And some of these guys can figure it out. Baseball is just, it's classic for guys figuring it out and becoming a high production type of player. So Clemens has all the ability in the world to be a major league infielder, a starter.
All right. So those are all the names. John, did you have anybody that stood out to you?
Oh, just one big name. We got a question from our favorite commenter of all time.
Shouldn't he be podcasting tonight, Jarrett? Why aren't you podcasting tonight?
He was canceled.
He's probably doing the warm-up or something.
It's rained out, just like opening day. Snowed out.
It's not going to be.
Over-under. This one's for you two. Over-under 15 home runs for Miggy this year.
Under.
I would take the under, yeah.
There you go, Jarrett. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah. On your podcast. All right. What I wanted to do is ask you guys, how many wins do you expect for the Tigers to have this year?
That's a tough one.
They had 77 last year, correct?
Yeah. I got my number.
What is it?
85.
85?
I would consider 85 a successful season.
All right.
I think I maybe expect 82 to 85 in that range.
I'll round up in honor of Calvin Johnson, 81. I was gonna say right around 80. Yeah, I'll take the over on the win total.
I was gonna say 89.
Ooh,
89.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's gonna click, man. I really
especially
do.
If they're gonna compete for the division, yeah.
I think this.
Probably need
I
89 wins.
feel like this team is ready, and I'm ready to get let down. That's where this is. Honestly, the Tigers are the first team in how many years that we're going to go into a season in being like, whether they're high expectations or low expectations, like we have legitimate expectations for this team.
Yeah.
And we will be disappointed if they go on a 5-game losing streak. We will be disappointed if they lose 10 of 15.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of stuff will matter to this team, and it will matter to us. And I am so excited to be mad that my team isn't doing good. Because I haven't, like, I don't know the last time I've been that way. I mean,
that, you're
Lions,
so right,
obviously, but, like, this is legitimate. They had an off season. Credit to Alavila. I know I roll him through the mud because he drives me nuts. Some of the moves he makes, and I'm still going to question some of them. But what this organization did in this offseason, and I think the Austin Meadows trade was just it's not a Correa sign. It's not a massive splash, but it told us what
signal.
It's exact. That's a great way to.
Right?
Oh, I like that.
There you go.
I really like that. It is a signal of what they want, and I am completely bought in now. I am. It might not come together this year. It might take another year, but I'm ready.
Yeah, you're right.
To be disappointed.
They go on a losing streak. We're all going to say you're a better team than this.
Yeah,
and we haven't said that in years.
Yeah, and it's not going to. Yeah, I don't know. That's where I'm at, man. I'm pumped.
Jarrett said 80 wins for Detroit, and Kerry said 88.
88.
There's the difference in optimism. I think the betting line in Vegas right now is something like 77.5 or something, right?
I talked. Yeah, I brought that up early. What was it?
I don't think you did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, but it's low. It's lower than Detroit expectations.
It's lower than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
I remember that. But I think it's gone up as well since they traded.
Since the trade, yeah.
So the over under is at 78.5.
I was one off. There you go.
Jarrett wants to know if Ty Madden is related to John Madden, if Joey Wentz is related to Carson Wentz, and if Cody Clemens is related
us
to
on Instagram,
Roger.
Facebook,
Yes, to
Twitter,
all.
YouTube,
And Chris Sale is
Twitch.
still injured.
State of my sports.
He probably thinks Fido is related to Fido, too, the cat or whatever.
So the big question is, who got the better shortstop, Red Sox or the Tigers?
Who do the Red Sox? Story?
Trevor Story.
I think Story will actually hit the ball pretty well in that ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, everybody looks
like
good
Trevor
in
Story.
Fenway, but
Yeah, I like Trevor Story.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he, if I don't know, getting out of Coors is going to affect him at all.
Hey, both the Red Sox and the Tigers are technically the third best team in their division, right?
There you go.
Actually, Red Sox might be fourth.
Fourth behind Rays, Yankees,
Toronto.
Yeah, they probably are fourth.
Yeah, but at least you're ahead of Baltimore. That's kind of cool.
Good job though. Yeah,
Good for you.
good try.
We gotta call it out.
Well, let's move on. Yeah,
Not
not
where
a
are we
Red
at
Sox
right now?
segment.
All right, I do
They're
want to
not good
move.
enough for
I
that.
want to move through this as quick as we can because we did go long on the Tigers. Rightfully so. It's the preseason. I mean, it's season preview. That's what we got to do.
I can go through this fast. I promise.
And then
to
I'll probably
everybody.
ask questions that slow everything down.
Oh, you will. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, all right.
What's his hand size?
So last week we went through
that's
the
important.
top 5 wide receivers and the top 5 quarterbacks in this 2022 NFL draft. This week we're going to move over to the defense side of the ball. We're going to start with our defensive ends / edge rushers. I know some people call them linebackers. Some people call them defensive ends. I don't really give a crap. Let's just talk about the 5 best ones in this draft.
Yeah, I'm
John,
pumped
be
about
ready.
this.
We got the stream stuff.
Do you want me to talk about the just missed the top 5 or no?
Let's do that at the end if we have time.
Honorable mentions.
Yeah,
Okay.
real quick at the end. But let's go through the top 5 first.
All right. So number 5 defensive ends. I have David Ajabo.
That's not David. Are we on the tackles?
No, this
Yeah,
says
Perrion
DN.
Winfrey. That's tackle DN, or that's DT.
You had him at number 5 yesterday, didn't you?
That's for a tackle. Yeah, DT. Do you want? Did this get messed up?
Did I do it wrong?
Oh, it's just the order on the stream deck. Hold on, we can get there though. We're on DTs, right? You said DT.
No, we're on DE.
Defensive end.
We're on ends.
It's okay.
Oh, so it's mislabeled.
Is it?
You got your DE as DT.
It didn't switch again though. I think I screwed everything up.
Let's try. Oh,
I really screwed this up.
DT 5.
I can do DTs.
Try Ryan's.
Let's do DTs.
Let's do DT.
DT 5.
Yeah. Let's do it. All right.
DT 4. Who's your DT 4?
Yeah,
DT
Travis
4,
Jones.
DT 5.
All right, DT 5.
Perion Winfrey.
All right. Do we want to just start over so you get a good clean cut in there?
No, we're good.
No.
Does he play DT and DN? Let's figure that out.
I don't
real
know
quick.
what I did wrong.
All right.
there.
Let's
I'm nervous.
start off. Let's start off with the defensive tackles. I'll give the top 5 for that. Right.
All right, yeah.
All right. Number 5. Number 5. I've got Perion Winfrey, defensive tackle out of Oklahoma. He's an undersized tackle for sure. But I think the pass rush ability or the explosiveness out of that position is important enough to at least experiment with. And I think his Senior Bowl showing is also good enough to warrant this number 5. When we're going through the defensive tackles, I think 1 through 4 are there's a big gap between number 4 and number 5 in my rankings. I went through maybe 5 or 6 other tackles. And Perion Winfrey, I think, just has the higher upside overall as a pass rusher, which is the reason he got there. Should we do number 4? Tackle number 4, I've got Travis Jones, another guy, a high riser throughout the Senior Bowl process. He absolutely dominated guards and centers during that and during the one-on-ones. Like, nobody could contain this guy. He is big. He's strong. He's got big hands. He's surprisingly athletic. He moves fast. He's got that quick twitch ability. But when I watch his film, he does not get moved off his spot no matter what. He is a run stuffer, absolutely. I don't think he has high upside in the pass rush ability. He's not going to give you the lateral quickness or anything like that, but his explosiveness as far as like winning the line of scrimmage is pretty elite, I would say, according to all the other tackles out there. I think he is definitely your more run first type of tackle rather than the pass rusher, with some maybe higher end upside. His comp in my mind is actually last year. It's Aleem McNeil from the Lions, a guy that's not going to give you a ton of sacks at the end of the year, but does his job, does it well, and is an asset to your team.
Nice. Who do you got at number 3?
Number 3, this one, Logan Hall, out of Houston. Are we just messing this up or what? DT number 3.
I really screwed up, didn't I? Can you maybe just go through the right side line, just the buttons around?
You're off. Okay. Well, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to talk about George Karlaftis?
Nope. Talk
or
DT number 3.
DT number 3.
John will get it.
All right. I've got Logan Hall. Logan Hall out of Houston. This is your pass rusher. And I think out of the tackle position group, we always want to go back to Aaron Donald and say, like, who's the next Aaron Donald? But yet he's too big, he's too strong, he's too athletic, he's too unique, I guess, to compare to other people. But in that comparison, there is some legitimate upside with, I would say, Logan Hall if he plays in the middle. Now, he also has the ability to jump outside as a defensive end. I just don't think that's where his value comes into play. I think he's extremely explosive and can get to the quarterback from the tackle position. And that inside pressure, we just see how valuable. I think Aaron Donald has really shown the world how valuable that is in football. If you can get inside pressure at the same time as outside pressure around the outside, I mean, that's just completely disruptive. As a quarterback, where are you going to run to if you can't go inside or outside? I think Logan Hall, the reason some people probably have Travis Jones ahead of him, but I just think, again, the pass rush is just too explosive, too much potential there to move him any farther than 3.
All right, so number 2.
Number 2, I think it's obvious between the two Georgia guys, right? We got Devontae Wyatt and Jordan Davis left. Both of them showed out at the combine. This was really hard for me, trying to decide between the two of them. I am going number 2 with Jordan Davis.
Is that mainly because of just not an every down guy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, and even though he has incredible athletic ability, and I mean, when we go through the combine stats here, he jumped a foot farther in the broad jump, 1 foot farther than every other defensive tackle in this group.
Holy smokes.
As the biggest dude out there.
He's a massive human being.
He is an extremely, I mean, he's an insane athlete, yes. But I don't see that, and it might just be the double teams. And I might be wrong about this because he impacts the game maybe in a different way than I'm not picking up. But his impact to the game was not the pass rush ability and the agile kind of movements to get to the quarterback. It was outmuscle your guy, physically move them out of the way, and then eventually go get the quarterback or the running back whenever the play is breaking down. But I mean, the stats on this guy are insane. I don't know if you want me to get into the combine at all.
Well, I mean, basically, it comes down to just the fact that you and I'm going to look at it as a Lions fan. You don't draft a non-every down guy that high, and that's where you would rank the other guy a little bit higher, right? Is mainly just because it what he does is so unique, it just doesn't fit the every down. It doesn't fit against, let's say, a pass happy team, necessarily more of a run. Like, and I could be wrong on that completely, but like that's where I'm at. It's like he's just, I don't know.
He's giant. He's giant, but you don't see you saw him in critical situations against Alabama the first time at least get winded, right? He was sitting there on his knees, being, just breathing heavy and trying to catch his breath. And all of his season up until that point was he was a first and second down guy.
Yep.
And he'd come off the field in third down situations.
And it's probably more or less just like you already know his flaw, right? You already know what the issue could be rather than wonder what it will be.
Yeah, but he is 6'6".
Yeah.
He's 341 pounds. He's got giant hands, giant arms. He ran a 4.78 40-yard dash, which is basically Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
He had a 32-inch vertical jump. And again, he jumped a foot farther than every other tackle
insane
at the combine. I mean, his numbers, his measurables are off the charts. I had a really hard time not putting him as number 1 just because of I don't even know what he could turn into at the next level. I really don't.
It's kind of just a 1A, 1B at this point, right?
Yeah. And
depending on what your defense fits, what your defense
exactly,
needs.
100%. And then the next guy would be number 1,
yep,
Devontae Wyatt.
Devontae Wyatt, okay.
And he might be a smaller human being. He is 6'3", 304 pounds. Not as big of hands, not as long arms or anything like that. But he ran an equivalent 40-yard dash. He ran a 4.77 as opposed to Jordan Davis's 4.78. Not as high of a vertical, not as far as a broad jump, but as compared to other tackles, also just an incredible athlete who, on tape, what I saw, and this is the difference, I guess. If I'm going to differentiate the two players, I saw Devontae Wyatt have an ability to sneak around his guy in front of him.
Because he is a smaller frame.
A smaller frame, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And he has like a special bend ability. If his legs stay in one spot, I saw him duck from his upper half and get around those blocks.
So a little more of a natural pass rushing body and athleticism. Where, like, obviously Jordan Davis, his athleticism was on there with the numbers and stuff, but it's a different type of athleticism. It's more agile athleticism rather than just, I can jump and do all of the athletic things with my massive human body, but like an agile player, it does have a different role.
And the counter to this would be that Jordan Davis made Devontae Wyatt so good because he never saw a double. And I get that. I completely agree with your argument there. I just go back to what makes Aaron Donald special. It's his ability to get around blockers and make a difference in the passing game. He is the ultimate inside pass rush which changed the game of football. Now everybody's looking for this.
Yeah.
And I think Devontae Wyatt has that upside. I think Jordan Davis has that impact as well, but not to the same level that Wyatt could potentially have.
Nice. Getting into DEs, John. I'm sorry, I've screwed this whole thing up. My bad. Are we? Or is it all?
Hey, that's what this mouse is for, baby. I just
Yeah.
got to click it a few times. We'll get it figured
Just
out.
a couple clicks, we're good to go.
Yeah,
All right,
all this fancy new technology. Let's just go back to that double-click mouse and be all good.
Also, I have no other tackles to even bring up.
At this point, there's no reason,
Yeah.
right?
Well, my show sheet said DN rankings, D tackles, so you went right to D tackles, and I'm pressing D tackles, and it's pulling up DNs, so
My bad.
we'll figure it out. But we're working on it.
I pulled it off like a true amateur. Like I just went silent for a little
Yeah,
while.
we were just like, all right,
Hey,
what are we gonna
man,
do? Do we
if
want
this
to
was
stop?
if this was my full-time income, you know what I'd be doing 95 every day of the week.
Not
Yeah,
doing
well,
so
you wouldn't be going to 5 on your days that you want to go fishing earlier and stuff.
Ooh.
But, anyways,
All
DEs,
right.
top 5 DEs, and I think this one's even more important because the Lions are talked to get DEs.
Yeah,
Everybody's telling us we need DEs. I don't necessarily buy that.
I
But
do.
let's get into it.
Yeah, let's start off with my number 5 defensive end / edge. I've got David Ajabo. This is including his injury.
Is it? Would he be higher if it wasn't for the injury?
He would be on my list. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And so when I look at the tape, I just see a special ability to win around the outside and then counter on the inside when needed. He brings the spin move. He brings inside leverage. He brings some strength ability that I think is underrated that people are not looking at. I think his upper body is strong enough and his hands are good enough to get really good leverage. Maybe his lower body is not so bulky like you would want to see.
His Achilles is definitely not strong enough.
His Achilles tore.
Is his Achilles heel?
Yeah, it's his Achilles heel. I'm really, really hoping. I'm basically setting this list with him on it, acknowledging the injury. He dropped down my list a little bit, but I don't want it to take away from. I think I'm
Prospect
expecting
that he is.
I'm expecting a recovery.
All right.
Yeah. So could it destroy his potential in the NFL? Absolutely, 100%. I don't, because he relies on that
Yeah.
explosiveness.
Yeah.
He really does. But let's not forget that he ran a 4.55 40-yard dash. Let's not forget that he has a 35-inch vertical, 122-inch broad jump, and quick in his 20-yard shuttle.
What do you think leagues think of this type of thing? The injury and is this a massive concern to them, or do they look at it as we can get a steal for this guy?
It depends on the tear, I think, and they're going to do their research. They're going to talk to the doctors, surgeons. They're going to ask about the nature of the injury and if it's a partial tear versus full tear, and how does the full tear look? Was it, a tricky surgery and everything else?
Yeah.
They're going to look into that. I think people expect prospects to bounce back from this stuff, especially being so young. But this is one of the worst ones. This takes away explosiveness.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not
It's
sure.
It's the new ACL in this world.
It
is
is,
the
yeah.
Achilles. All right, number 4.
Number 4, I have Trayvon Walker.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are considering him potentially be the number 1. Some people are saying number 2. That's kind of where we're seeing him get graded. Why do you have him at number 4? And I'm sorry if I just set it up as like a downside. It might not even be downside. It's just how deep this position is. Maybe
he has incredible athletic ability that was on full display during the combine. But I think maybe maybe a little bit more than it should have been hyped up his combine.
Okay.
So the production on the field is, I think last year was like 4.5 sacks.
Yeah, it's not a ton.
The production's not there, but they also didn't ask him to do too much. They asked him to set the edge and be the strong guy to just engage with the offensive lineman and then work from there. I don't think you can put a guy on a football field who has instincts to go get the quarterback and
tell him not to.
Yes, exactly. I think they used his strengths at Georgia according to what he's capable of, and there's some untapped potential. There's definitely some upside there that's not realized at this point. We've seen evidence of that in years past when the measurables translates to production.
Yeah.
But I don't see this as – so he ran a 4.51 40-yard dash compared to Jabo's 4.55.
Okay.
You know, and there's other guys like Arnold Ebiketie from Penn State ran 4.52 or 3 or something like that. It's not unheard of for these defensive ends to be such amazing athletes that they're running a 4.5 40. It's just it's not unheard of. People do it these days.
Do you think – so basically it comes down to, is he like the Rashawn Gary of this draft where he has all of the upside, the measurables are there, but the production wasn't? And was it because of the role he was playing, or is it because that's just he's not as explosive to go get those stats and go get the quarterback the way that Gary didn't? You know what I mean? And I know Michigan fans, the way we think, like we're obviously that's who we think of, different position too, right? Like Gary's more interior, or is that a good comparison?
No, it's my perfect comparison.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's exactly who it like all the upside in the world, a high end recruit.
But the red flag of the lack of production is what is making you feel like it might not be there.
Yes, and then you talk to the Packers fans, and they love Rashawn Gary. Well, that didn't translate immediately, and it's still not elite. It's not a 15-sack guy. It's not a 16-sack guy, but he's solid. And so we see there's value in Trayvon Walker. I'm not saying there's none.
Yeah.
But there's definitely he doesn't naturally go get the quarterback. He's not an edge guy that has amazing bend and ability to get around a block, and that's where I cannot rank him any higher than this. I think some of these other guys are elite athletes who just have a natural instinct to keep the motor moving forward and get to the quarterback.
So let's get into the next guy here. Number 3,
George Karlaftis. He was a high-end prospect and big name out of Purdue. Yeah, going into the combine, I would say right after the season ended, and his stock has been falling ever since.
Okay.
At this point, I could see him going in the late first round based on mock drafts that I've seen and just, like I guess the hype around him. And Trayvon Walker is the complete counter to that. He's looking at potentially even second overall. Karlaftis, nobody's saying anything about Karlaftis.
Yeah, he's very quiet about him.
When I see and watch George Karlaftis, he is absolutely relentless. I see a massive human being that moves people out of the way, that uses his hands he just uses them as clubs and moves people out of the way, and has a unique ability to contort his body to get to the quarterback at all costs. And I think that translates much better than measurables at a combine.
Who would be your comp for him in the NFL? Is it as simple to say a J.J. Watt?
He could be. I want to look up some of the measurables because I think he had a 38-inch vertical jump.
Okay.
Karlaftis, and to me that just shows the explosiveness in a specific direction. His comp is challenging for me because it's almost like an Aaron Donald. You ever watched Aaron Donald, like some of his highlights and stuff, how he gets to the quarterback? He looks like a pinball machine, just kind of bouncing around.
Yeah.
But forever moving forward.
Yeah.
And that's what I see Karlaftis as. Like even when he's being blocked, his legs keep moving independently
in the right
from his
direction.
upper body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he just overwhelms eventually whatever offensive line's in front of him. He's got incredible strength, big hands, strong hands. I think he's going to be a huge pickup for somebody mid to late first round.
Yeah.
Karlaftis, yeah.
All right, number 2.
Number 2, defensive end, I have Kayvon Thibodeau.
Okay. This is one of the most interesting names, I think, in this whole entire draft because we went into this like what 4 weeks left in the regular season of like college football. He was number 1. There was no question. It was it was kind of basically all year. He's the one that everybody has to worry about. Now all of a sudden it just seems to be like, oh well, does he have the attitude? Does he do this? Does he do that? He's just continuing to quote unquote fall down to only be picked number 2 in my head, right? Like that's kind of what it seems like the end goal is with him. But what do you like about him?
He just has that. He has a special ability that not everybody has. And it's the bend around the outside. It's the explosiveness, the ability to jump off the ball in critical situations and third down and go get the quarterback using his athletic ability and his skill of staying on his feet, as his elbows brushing the ground. Like, I don't know. He is the closest thing to Myles Garrett.
That's exactly. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, it maybe he lacks a little bit of the upper body strength, but he has also been forever injured in college. So I think that takes away from somebody's ability to build muscle and work.
That's true. Yeah.
100% in the weight room all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to – I think if you look at him coming out of high school, he was a man. Like, he hasn't done that much of a transformation from his freshman year to now.
Yeah.
And I think that just shows maybe the lack of ability to stay in the weight room and give it 100%. But you're right. He is interesting because people are talking – they're knocking him for – selling his own brand.
Yeah.
Compared to team success.
Yeah. Which when you become in such a niche position that it's not about who you are as a person, it's not about who you are team oriented or not. The guy that I want going after a quarterback is someone that I don't care about thinking about the team. He's got one goal. And it doesn't matter if he was told to go left or right, just go get him.
Yep.
That's where I'm at. And I hate the stigma around the defensive end position right now is everybody's getting so hyped up about the TJ Watts of the world who just goes and gets the quarterback and the Joey Bosa's. And don't get me wrong, if we could get
Nick Bosa,
but like, I don't need the high motor guy. I don't need the guy that gives it all every single play. No, those aren't the guys that are most successful in the league. The guys that are most successful in the league know how to play in this league. They know how to take a play off because they know the play's going the opposite direction. They're not going to go all out because that's what they have to do. That's what they're supposed to do. They take a play off or two,
or set
and
up a
then
lineman.
They completely go. And then that's when they make the big impact play. That's when they create the strip sack. That's when they create turnovers of interception. Those are the guys that I'm just like, I would take a Myles Garrett over a Joey Bosa. Not because of anything other than just I feel like Myles Garrett can manhandle, and he's got that mean streak and not just the high motor that everybody loves to talk about with other. And let's be honest, it's kind of a race thing. It's like the white guys have high motors, the black guys have the athletic ability, right? And the anger. You know what I mean? It's kind of the stigma that these guys have.
The Bosas have helped that stigma if there is one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far, though.
But, I mean, that's kind of what people talk about, though, right?
Yeah, I don't know. No.
No? I think they do. I don't know. I feel, and I'm not saying that's what I believe. I'm saying that's what it sounds like. When it's a white guy, it's a high motor.
Coachability, all that kind of stuff. And that's what Kayvon's getting dinged on a little bit is like, his character, if he's all in it for himself, he's building a brand. Yeah, I mean, from junior in high school, he knew that he was going to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's been conscious of his brand, which means that he's smart in a lot of people's minds, that he's thinking about the future, that he's setting himself up for long-term, family-changing type of success in his career. Like, why knock that right now? And to your point, who do you want going to get the quarterback? The guy that also is looking for the next contract. The guy that knows that if he gets 15 sacks a year that he's going to make bank.
Yep.
I don't care. Go do it. Make bank. Become the highest paid end in NFL history. That's great. That means you're producing.
Yep.
And so, like, if that's – I don't think the Lions are going to be sorry to bring Lions into this, but I don't think they're going to be scared away. I don't think any team should be scared away from that type of a thought process, I guess, from Thibodeau.
Yeah.
The other stuff, I'll let them figure out. I don't know, his character and everything else, but not because he's thinking about his long-term success from, the moment he stepped on campus.
Yeah. All right. Number one,
pretty obvious. It's Aiden Hutchinson.
Shocker.
Yeah. I don't think he has the elite traits that a lot of these other guys, almost the rest of the list has. But he does. But he's like second best at every single one of them. Like, he has an amazing first step off the line. That's, I think, the difference from this year compared to previous years. When I'm watching Ajabo, I think Ajabo is absolutely elite at winning from his first step. And yet, when I watch the tape, Aiden's on the opposite side doing exactly the same thing. They're both almost in rhythm. It's like perfect timing where the two of them are doing it together. Where Aiden, I think, just excels is his ability to. He can beat you around the outside. His motor, like we've talked about motor, his motor literally never stops. Like he does run everybody down from behind, and he's got extreme athleticism. He has the length. He has the strength. He has this push-pull type of movement where like he engages with the offensive lineman and then rips himself past them that I don't think is even comparable. Nobody else in this draft is even close to the way he can pull that off on a regular basis. And he exposed a lot of high-end tackles this year. I think he's the full package. I think he's a guaranteed impact type of player. Maybe not even a 16 sack guy ever, but he's going to be effective in the run game, in the pass game, on third down, locker room character. Like he's got everything that you want to be a guaranteed successful pick.
All right.
And not only that, but he's got he tested out pretty well too. 4.77, but his first 3 steps were just as fast as TJ Watt's.
Yeah.
His first 3 steps were just as fast as Thibodeau's. He won in the 3-cone drill. Like he was better than every other defensive end in the 3-cone and in the 20-yard shuttle. Like his short space burst is elite, and that's what shows. It's like the combination of length and strength with the short-term burst ability. Maybe he doesn't have the greatest bend, but he already won. He got there already, and he can keep you away from him with his hands and create that space.
Are Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau the number 1, number 2 prospects in this whole entire draft?
I think offensive tackle would have something to do with that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think it's definitely up for debate. I like Evan Neal. I like Icky. But yes, I think those 4 to me are above everybody else in this draft. And again, like I acknowledge that, like a Karlaftis or Trayvon Walker or a Jabo really could end up being the best pass rusher out of this whole group. But I think all those guys at the top, the Kayvons, the Aidens, those are the safe picks because they have rare special ability that some of the other guys might never live up to.
From the Red Wings to Michigan State, we're talking about it. This is State of My Sports.
We are going to have a draft.
Whoa.
Not NFL,
Didn't expect this.
but it's our Masters draft.
Isn't there like a Masters theme song?
I should have
tune?
downloaded
Yeah.
I feel like that would put everybody to sleep if they're not already, though.
Well,
Sounds great.
No, all right. So what we're gonna do is we're going to have our Masters Fearsome Foursome draft. And John, you got the first overall pick.
Cameron Smith. My pick is in. Cameron Smith.
All right.
Really?
The Aussie.
All right. I've never even heard of him, to be honest with you.
Well, he's up there.
I'm trying to find him.
He's like 4th on the list.
Is he? Oh, yep, there he is. All right. Ryan, you're next.
Who would your next pick be? No. I'm gonna go Brooks Koepka.
Koepka. All right. My pick's in. I guess I'll just go John Rahm. I mean, he's got the best odds, right?
It's a safe bet.
Yeah. Too
All right.
safe.
My next pick's in. Dustin Johnson. DJ. Right? Here we go. Ryan,
Yeah. Not bad.
who'd you take, Ryan? Koepka?
Yeah. Brooks Koepka. My pick is in. Jordan Spieth.
All right.
I'm going names, baby.
John.
Scotty Scheffler.
Scheffler.
He's been playing hot. He's won a couple times this year already on the tour.
Yeah?
He's rolling a good stick, they say on the links.
Is that what they say?
Do I get another
Is that what
pick?
they
Get
say?
another pick.
Holy cow! This is crazy that it's just 3 of us drafting.
Yeah, Micah really screwed us over here.
Yeah.
We're really gonna take the top 9 guys.
I mean, I'm not going
not.
to go outside of it.
I am. I'm going.
Oh shoot! All right,
girlfriends/wives of the other.
Man, all right, give me another European
got
guy.
Dustin?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Victor Hovland.
Hovland, never heard of him.
Victor, he's young, up and coming. It's a big time for him to get a W.
Oh, there he is.
How's DeChambeau looking?
Long? I don't know. Hits the ball far right?
Yeah,
Which isn't what you need at the Masters.
No. I don't
But
think.
it
I have
doesn't
no
hurt.
idea.
But it doesn't hurt, guys.
Is that who you're taking?
chicks
no.
dig the long ball.
Allegedly.
I'm gonna go with Patrick Cantley.
Can't lay.
Yep,
How
Cantley
does he
up.
sleep?
Goes for
I
it.
think he won like the FedEx Tour Cup last year.
Did he?
Yeah.
All right. My next two picks are in. Nobody took Justin Thomas yet?
No.
I mean, yeah, they did.
Oh yeah.
All right. I mean, I got to take Justin Thomas. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to.
Why weren't you going to?
I don't know, because I wanted somebody else. But
All right. Who else do you want?
Well, good thing you got the next pick.
Yeah.
well,
You sound like the other 8 teams in the NFL draft that got 2 first-rounders.
I'm going to go Xander Schauffele. Ryan.
Do I go another big name with Rory?
Or Tiger.
I probably won't do that. Pick is in. I gotta think about it a little bit more.
I tried to reverse it. I don't know.
With the 18th pick in the NFL draft, the Cincinnati Bengals have traded.
Oh man. Okay, so I'm gonna just air my dirty laundry here, if that's what it's saying. Justin Rose, Patrick Reed, not Bubba Watson.
What?
Or I go with McElroy.
Watson's got 2 jackets.
I know he does. He's a big time guy. I'm looking
Matsuyama
down.
won last year, right?
Sergio Garcia.
No,
Dang, look at these-
Hideki Matsuyama.
Hideki Matsui.
that what I
Matsuyama.
said?
I thought you said Morikawa.
No, I said Matsuyama.
Oh.
I might have said Morikawa. Maybe I said it wrong.
Yeah. Pick is in. I'm going Bubba Watson. Almost went Justin Rose.
Watson.
Huh.
Bubba Watson.
With the 9th pick, or 12th pick,
Go Rory.
man, there's a lot of big names still on there. Colin Morikawa won one 2 years ago. Man, I had his name highlighted earlier. Sam Burns, he's been playing a lot of hot golf lately as well. Kind of down on the list. A guy to look out for, Harold Varner. He's like plus 15,000. If you can get him to like make the cut and make money, I would put money on this guy, Harold
Alright,
Varner.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I think it might be Varner the second
Took a
or
lot of
third.
convincing.
No, he's good. Dang. All right, pick is in.
Stuart Sink.
Give me Sam Burns / Tiger Woods. I want to have Woods on my team.
I'll give it to you.
I want a 4.5 some.
4.5 some.
I
Yes.
can't believe the odds with Tiger there.
Who was the first one? Burns?
Sam Burns.
Mr.
Burns.
Burns and Woods. And then we'll figure out the details at the end. Not that we ever even tally who wins these things.
Yeah.
But it's still fun, right?
Burn Woods.
Burning Woods.
From the Red Wings to Michigan State, we're talking about it. This is State of My Sports.
I really had in my head that this was going to be a fast episode for some reason. But our Tigers talk was just so good.
Well, I
just
think we've
couldn't
been
cut it.
kind of putting things off with the Tigers, right? I mean,
Yeah.
on top of the little lockout they had there that pushed the season back.
Yeah. But anyways, we're into our Betting Hero segment. Ryan, explain Betting Hero very quickly.
Yeah, sure. They let you do sports betting online, and if you go to bettinghero.com, put in promo code MIBETS, then you win all kinds of free money.
Yeah.
Promo code MIBETS.
And after you do that, hop on board with the Wednesday Parlay.
Yeah. Well, that's where you're going to do your Wednesday parlay, right? Go through bettinghero.com.
So last week, I put a 5-leg hockey parlay on the line at plus. Oh, I guess there was some
Did you do this
basketball in there. I did.
too? Nice.
It was plus 1,004, and the Jets money line against the Sabres. They won in a shootout, 3-2. Knights minus 1.5 over the Kraken. They won 3-0. the Blues money line over the Canucks. They won 4-3. I had the Nuggets over the Pacers. They won 125-118. And then I had the Hawks over the Thunder for the 5-leg parlay win, 136-118. That's a parlay win. That's a good payout. Plus 1,004.
Yeah. What'd you put on it?
I always do $10. I'm not a big number gambler. I just do like small bets, but like I have fun with it.
It's a good payout. Good job. Congrats.
It wasn't bad. I was pumped. It's always nice to get a win.
I mean, at this point, if you're following the Wednesday parlay, you're going to be winning money, right?
Yeah, I mean, so we're 2-5 on the Wednesday parlay, but the payouts are worth it. If you just are consistent with your bets, it all pans out. If you hit 2 good parlays that are over, I think my other one that I hit was like plus 600. So like those are good payouts for what you're doing. So this week, tomorrow, I got the Jets minus 1.5 over the Wings. The Wings just beat Boston. They're going to have a massive letdown. The Jets need the win. It's going to be the empty netter if they need it. Blues over the Kraken. Blues are good. Kraken's bad. Minus 1.5. Take the puck line on those. It's totally worth it. Payouts there. Next, you got the Nets money line over the Knicks. Nets are desperate. They need these wins. And then I also have Durant going over 28.5 and over the 2.5 threes. I'm assuming the 28.5, it might be closer to 30, but take the over on that. So those are the Wednesday parlays for the week. Now we're getting into our beer grades for tonight.
We got a first beer grade that's got to get settled.
First beer grade. Somebody else beer
over
beer
the air.
It?
Yes. We got a beer grade coming in.
All right, what's our first beer grade?
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, first of all, we're missing Micah.
Micah's not here.
He got home at 8 and was in bed by 9.
Allegedly. Oh, yeah. Hour of homework? Is that what it, because he told me homework. Sounds like he got zero homework done. So thank you for calling him out.
Maybe he's commenting on Carrie's
yeah, I'm sure.
Facebook page.
He's sleeping.
But Carrie's also going to bed, but she had the blueberry strawberry hop shake from Arvon.
Ooh.
It's kind of a sour.
So it's not actually a sour.
Oh.
It's an IPA smoothie.
It's a okay.
Shake.
Okay.
Have you had it?
Okay.
Yeah. That's good.
She said awesome, all capital letters, a couple exclamation points.
AWE. SOMNE.
A 9.1.
Whoa.
I think we're going to have to
Whoa.
we're going to
adjust our scales here.
Yeah, we're going to have to bring that one back onto the show and see what we got going.
Yeah, we're going to divide that by 10? What's going on here?
It's a good beer, good score.
It's a high grade, Gary.
9-1. Wow, I like it. I mean,
Sounds
you can't
like
go wrong with Arvon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I trust Arvon.
All right, so what are we drinking, boys?
Striker. The lager. Huh?
Lost Art?
Yeah, I was going to get there. I was
Sorry.
going to say
Yeah,
the
I just interrupted
lager
you.
from Lost Art Brewhouse. Yeah, again, this is like super local to us. Awesome place. Really, really great beer. Everything that we've had there is great. Striker, I think, was one of their originals, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, it used to have the black label with the gold.
Yeah.
It just said Striker with the Lost Art. Yeah.
Yep. This is a 5% easy drinking lager. I'm a big fan of just, again, I think the flavor for this lager is just better, I think,
It's a really good
than
beer.
most lagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's not my style, but this beer is my style.
Yeah.
And that's the best way I can explain it.
Ton of flavor. Very, very good. What's your grade?
8. Man, I've graded this before, so I'm actually thinking, but I'm going to give it an 8.2.
John, what are you feeling with this one?
You want to know what I'm really feeling?
No, I don't think I want to know what you're feeling.
The fact that
I don't know where my cat is right now.
these two strikers came after several other
A full day.
strikers. It's up there. Lager. What does lager mean? That's just like a Budweiser, right? A lager,
I think it's like the
right? It's like your base.
Yeah.
It's like your baseline beer in
Yeah, it's
the
standard German beer.
in the craft world.
yeah.
Nothing crazy about it, but I would drink an afternoon on the boat more of these
hopefully catching fish.
Well, next time, I want to come in.
Doesn't matter if you've got a striker.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh boy.
Actually, is a striker is that a fishing lure too? I feel like it'd be a good name for a fishing
striker.
lure.
Should be.
I should get a lure and paint it like this while drinking these.
Name it and sell it.
It'll be Mickey K-line holding a hook. That's what you put the bait on. Maybe I don't know.
Oh man, this is a good beer. It's a good beer.
It's a good beer. He
There's,
said.
There's nothing
He just said
about it
good
that stands out.
beer, no grade,
Flavor,
just good.
weight, the return on the second gulp, it's all there.
Turn on investment.
I would, man. Like I said, I could get in trouble.
You gonna give it
drinking.
a grade or no?
I could drink 12 of these. Yeah. How about
I
a
think
9?
you did.
How about a 9.12?
Whoa!
I'd drink 12 of these. No, I'll throw it up there. 8.3.
8.3.
It's up there. It's a good beer.
Nice.
Drink these. Get these.
I think you
Support
guys are.
local.
I think you guys are spot on. I love what they do. I love that there's a baseball guy in it. I love the branding behind it all. I love what Lost Art does. They do such good stuff. We're in the works of getting an episode there here soon. But this is great lager. Very good lager. I'm going to go with an 8.0.
Nice. I definitely recommend Lost Art to everybody that I talk to when they're talking about like great West Side beers.
Yeah.
You know, like closer in the Walker area. DeHop's is obviously one of the I always point him to, but then Lost Art it's the other one. It's like can't go wrong.
I like
all their beers are good.
The one thing that I like about Lost Art more than DeHop's, and I'm not going to hate on DeHop's here, but like I like the Brewhouse. Like it is all about the beer. It's all about the modern feel that it's not really modern, but like it's like a mix of modern and like
It's about the beer.
But what kind of feel would you say? It has like throwback feel, like throwback New York feel, I guess, if you will. But it also like feels more modern, and it's all about the beer. Like they have the food trucks, which is great, but comfort, cool.
You're not there for a restaurant.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Just one
so
big
if you
room.
want to have that type of feel, I highly recommend
community,
Lost
it's
Art.
more community.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. All right,
There you go.
I love it.
What do you think?
I think it is time to go. Is it time to go, John? Or should we just start the Tigers talk all over again?
Ooh.
You guys want to talk Tigers more?
I could do another top 5 if you guys
Yeah.
want.
Top 5 shortstops on the Tigers roster.
Ooh, that's actually a good one. I like that.
I'm trying to find the out button.
No, you're not. You're missing it.
That was episode 151.
Oh, we
Thank you
missed
guys for
the
being here.
the big one.
Yeah, it was
150.
last week. We were
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, no, we didn't celebrate.
Thank you guys for recording. Thank you all for listening. We'll talk to you next week, if not sooner, from DeHop.
You've been listening to State of My Sports. From the Red Wings to the Lions, to the Tigers to the Pistons, to Michigan and Michigan State, and everything in between, we're talking about it. And don't forget the beer. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. In the meantime, hook up with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at State of My Sports with an MI. We'll see you next time.